I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy.
All right, so I have a question for everybody here.
Purple. That's my standard
outside
answer.
of shut up. Outside of Ricky's obvious, do you guys have any kind of connection or communication with your exes at all?
Weirdly, like I've always in like all my exes and stuff, I was always kind of friends with them afterwards. Like they never really ended on horrible notes, except for one of them. And then of course my ex-wife was not a great one. But when we were married, she went through Facebook and started looking up my exes, not like jealousy wise, just because she didn't believe I could be friends with them, and was like sending them friends requests and like talking to them. And she's like, "Oh, I talked to Liz and da 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 da, and she said you're so nice and blah 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 blah, and you guys should talk and get back together for lunch or something." I'm like, "Do you realize how fucking weird it is that my wife is telling me I should go have a lunch date with an ex-girlfriend? I mean, do you not hear the crazy in that conversation?" I said, "But it's no, I've never really had any negatives other than the one, like my first serious long-term girlfriend that ended very very badly on a very very touchy situation." But and then my ex-wife. Other than that, I got along with them.
So you in general, you could have communications, no problem with your exes.
Yep, except for the first one and then the last one.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a good way to do it. What about you, Robert?
Yep. Not really. So I don't. My current marriage is my only marriage. Which I'm quite thankful for, because I've heard of others where that's not always the case. So if it is, it is. But my only story to that is the girlfriend that I had before my wife, because I really wasn't a huge dater, not very big into the dating scene. But the girlfriend that I had been with prior was. We had been together for about 4 years, and so she had asked life goals of wanting to become a lawyer, and as it turned out, we wound up in a conundrum of, this was my wife and I, where we were trying to sell our first house and running into some problems with a very aggressive buyer who was trying to basically snake us, saying that we had not properly disclosed everything on the house before putting it up for sale, because they were trying to say that we said this and we said that, and we were and that they were basically trying to create a lawsuit where there wasn't one.
Gotcha.
So I actually had, in our moment of going back and forth, we were like, who can we contact that actually has any type of law knowledge? So this is going back a couple of years. I reached out to this girl, found out that she did not, in fact, go to law school, but she did actually done some work. So she was able to offer a little bit of advice here or there, but it wasn't like, oh, by the way, this is how it officially is. But it was interesting to kind of go backwards and find out, oh, hey, how is things going? And turns out, well, person got married, had a kid. But other than that, it was just
Hooters.
Well, no, not quite. No, definitely not. But I mean, it happened.
It's 5-year plan.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, it is the 5-year plan. No, everything was amiable, but that was
her name Vicky?
So
no. This is a good surprise on you.
No.
Okay, Big Daddy.
But my story, my relational story to that is basically one of the reasons why we did break up, and which was that said girlfriend. At the time, she was trying to do something very, very cute, by setting up a treasure hunt of sorts, where I was going to find a gift, which was some like a movie ticket or something, or I forget what it was now. But she sent me on this treasure hunt. Well, one of this, it was just driving around, driving here and there, and let's go to this place where we first went on a date, and etc. Well, one of those places where she hid a treasure item was in the middle of this park, which unfortunately the night before had flooded because
Ooh.
of an excessive amount of rain. And so it was in the middle of this sort of island now that hadn't been an island the day before, in a tree. And so I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to, she's like, oh, don't bother. It's all soggy. I was like, no, I can jump this. So I jumped the gap between the water, which was, way deeper than I wanted to get, I wanted to like wade through. Jumped the gap, slid through the mud, and proceeded to tear part of my ear
Mm.
on this tree. So what started out as, oh, let's have a nice day, turned out with a visit to the ER and me getting some lovely temporary stitches.
Nice.
Fuck.
So nothing says love like I'm willing to take stitches for your gift of generosity.
So it's went out for a sandwich, got into an Indiana Jones adventure instead.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
But anyway, one reason I wanted to ask is because sometimes I feel weird because I don't talk to my exes. Like, and I feel like a lot of people have good relationships somehow, even a boyfriend, girlfriend, usually, because obviously I've never been married before. But like the woman I was dating prior to Miss Shoky, the one with it was a single mom, I was basically the stepdad. I've talked about it before on a show. Now we had a carryover relationship after we broke up. Like there was a few months there where we were still sort of seeing each other on the side. I may or may not have been giving it to her after she was engaged
y'all
to
were
her.
just getting together to bang. Got it.
Yeah, basically. But like she did want to carry on a friendship after the fact. So like the only reason she was even doing anything with me is because she wanted to try to keep me in her life, even though I was trying to get her back. So like for her, it's just, okay, if I gotta fuck him to keep him in my life, it'll be fine. But then once she's in another relationship, even to the point of being engaged to another man, it's like, I guess you probably can't keep fucking me. So, at that point,
that's not how biology works, but
yeah, it's true. But some kind of social norms, I don't know. But either way, so even to the point, like, we were still talking. Like nothing was going on. She had moved to Dallas, so she was 200 miles away, so obviously nothing's going on, not really anyways. And then I got with Miss Shoky, at least at the beginning of our relationship, and even up till like a little bit before we moved in together, she did hit me up one time because my ex hit me up because she was going to be in town and she just wanted to see me. And so I begrudgingly said, okay. And met with her for about, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, about as much as I could stomach realistically. And I kind of kept that from Miss Shoky there for a little while. And then eventually I did tell her that, nothing happened, obviously. But like at this point, it's like, I don't want her in my life because it's like, it just reminds me of all the bad shit, and we didn't really end on good terms, realistically. But she wants to pretend we did and be able to carry on a friendship. And so she has contacted me a couple times in the last couple of years via Facebook after I unblocked her. I'm like, look, I'm not friends with her. She can't see my shit, nothing like that. So I unblocked her. So she sent me a message a couple of years ago where Tara had asked about my mom. And so she sent me a message saying, hey, we're just saying how y'all are doing. She was wondering about your mom because my mom tried to be kind of a grandma to her, when she babysat her a couple times. And it was the same situation where basically she wouldn't allow me or even my parents to kind of help in the raising of her. It's just more or less the convenience of having someone there. But either way. And so a couple weeks ago, she messaged me again, also under the guise of, oh, well, Tara saw this thing and was curious about you. I was like, if she was curious, she could contact me. He's like, but I don't want to fucking talk to you. Like, I'm not replying to her. She can see that I read it, but I'm not replying to her at all because I don't want to open that door. Whatever's on the other side of that door, I don't want to fucking open it. But I don't know.
Sometimes it just invites drama.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like, So, obviously my wife knows everything that me and the ex did do. I did tell her everything that happened, even, once we broke up, and then all the times we were together after that. And it did create a lot of drama in the early days of our relationship. And there was a lot of jealousy there. And like, she felt for a long time that the ex was just going to scoop me up, like suddenly realized she made a mistake. I was like, yeah, she made such a mistake that she went and married someone else, then divorced him, and is now with somebody else. I was like, yeah, that was a great mistake. And she's just going to come and scoop me back up. It's like, it don't work that way. Sorry. it's like you kind of have me nailed down here for, let's see, 7 years at this point. So like, I mean, this is the longest relationship I've ever had. I'm not just gonna go and fuck it up for one that definitely didn't work. But like, if the kid wanted to contact me and talk and hang out and stuff like that, because she's 18 now, I think 17 or 18 now. So if she wanted to hang out, I mean, it would be awkward as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but like, I would be open at least to that, because there's no negativity there, at least on my part. But I don't want to remotely open the door for her mother at all. Like, it's like, I don't want you in my life. You fucked up so much of my life when you left that I can't not hold that against you. So either way, it was just that happened the other day, and I wanted to talk it through, essentially. See if there's anybody out there who also doesn't have good relationships with their exes, or if you cut them out completely, or if they're like completely in your life all the fucking time.
I think the best example for me is my mother and my father. So, I mean, my parents were a marriage of convenience to try to get away from their personal situations. But then it was just a constant battle between them, to the point where they divorced by the time I was by the time I was 9. And the only reason why there was any communication was literally purely over child payments. And so my mother basically turned my father into the epitome of the worst, of like the devil, the devil reincarnate. And
Yeah.
so she would draft the narrative, which of course, as a kid, that's not what you should be doing.
No.
But she drafted the narrative that my father was, uncaring about anything that had to do with me, and that
So were you
I
with your
was,
mom?
so I was with my mom.
Okay.
And so she drafted this narrative where my father was the worst person ever, and that he did this and he did that. And while there are some granules of truth, which, I mean, I'm not going to go into detail over, there's a lot that was more about my mother having this giant schism over how over what she perceived.
Hmm.
And so it really made their relationship, it turned into a battle of attrition between the two of them, to the point that the next time they ever even saw each other was literally many years later, when I was getting married. And so that was the most awkward wedding rehearsal I'd ever been at. The dinner was
Yeah.
literally two sides. It was like the Hatfields and the McCoys. One side you had my mother's side of the family, one side you had my father's side of the family, and the daggers were being thrown by eyes of every person at each table.
Mm.
And so that was probably the most telling about what could go wrong when you are just not having an amicable separation. There are multiple instances that I know of in friends where, yes, they have very amicable separations, divorces, and the mother and father, or whoever, they stay friends, and they stay in contact, and it's and it's fine.
Especially when you're co-parenting, at least having that amicable
Does
thing
help. It
does
does. It
work.
definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. But no, not so much with my mother and
Mm.
father. It was beyond a shadow of a doubt like, you know, if voodoo dolls were a thing that actually worked, my mother would have had one.
Oh, they
And,
work, but you have to really
yeah,
believe.
have to really believe. Yeah.
Also have access to
Um,
bones and stuff. I mean, it's a complicated thing.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, that's kind of what that's kind of what I think of. But you're right. Like if they're reaching out to you and they're, you know, and it's sort of like, oh, I was wondering about this, or, you know, it's that trying to find a wedge in, because, and usually it is something that leads to more drama from
One
what
way or
I've
the
seen.
other, there will be more drama. Like,
Correct. There, one way or the other, and
because
it's always something. It's always something emotional, personal, or because they have sometimes it's just because of the type of personality.
yeah. Well, for her, and this is one thing I guess that has always bothered me a little bit when a current girlfriend or spouse or whatever does have a relation or has a continuous relationship with an ex, whether that's just, you know, whether it's friends or whatever. I guess it's never made sense to me. It'd be like, so he used to dick you, but you guys can talk now
So to
about
speak.
anything, not even so to speak. I'm just saying straight up. It's like, so y'all used to fuck, but you're still friends now, even though you and I are now fucking. It's like, I don't know how I feel about you two being in the same room at this point. You know, that, I mean, that's the jealousy part on me for just what it is, I guess. But like,
That's not uncommon, though.
yeah,
That is not uncommon.
but given my ex's proclivities to wanting to at least use her body to keep me around, I wouldn't put her past her. Be like, look, you know, we're hanging out, okay, maybe. He's like, she'll be like, I'll be like, no, I'm kind of done with this. Would she do something stupid? You know, again, it's just like, no, I'm not gonna even open the door to this possibility. Not to mention she's 7 years older than when we were together. You know, no longer. So we broke up. So I keep forgetting we didn't break up then. So we broke up the year prior. So she's 8 years older than when we broke up in the first place. So, you know, it is what it is. She was already 5 years older than me. So, you know, not that older ladies can't still do the thing, but now she's, at least from what I can see, she's with an
Just
old.
scared off half our listening.
No,
audience.
I don't mind that. It's just, I'm talking about, at least for me, you know, it's one thing when you started out at that level, but at this point, I'm not going to go fishing in that direction. But, you know, and also it's not just a drama with her, obviously, because we have our significant past, but like the fact that, and maybe this is just me, the biggest thing for me when it comes to breakups or people splitting off and stuff like this is like, you know, she took most of my life socially and everything when she left. Like, I was left with virtually nothing. So to me, it was like, look, if you hadn't done it this way, I could have kept on and not lost as much, but I lost friends, I lost my social circles, I lost my hobbies, I lost everything when you left. So it's like that, to me, that's an unforgivable thing. And I don't know if that's just on me, but the same thing, you know, when certain friends have left in recent years, it's just like, look, you kind of just fucked off and left me behind. That's basically betrayal on my end. So it's like, if you want to try to come back, you're going to have to fucking get out the shovel and fucking start unburying all the bullshit you put yourself under, you know? And maybe that's just me not being able to let shit go or something, or maybe I just hold grudges to a degree, but like when it comes to betrayal and taking things from me that mean the most to me, I'm sorry, it's shit I don't really forgive.
Plus, in the social circle deal, you know, it just depends upon. Oh, I hate to put it this way, but it's kind of like who gets the kids in the divorce.
No, it's what it was.
It is.
Who got the friends?
Right. Yeah. Who gets the friends? Who gets the fun?
Yeah. So she got the friends and she got the fun, essentially. And these were people I already knew in the first place. Like
Plus side, you got us.
Many years later.
It's hard.
Perfection is worth waiting for.
It's hard too, especially when it's friends, because they're like, whose side are we going to take?
Exactly. and the thing is, like, this is the same group that I've mentioned before, that because of her, essentially, you know, not just when she left, but prior to that, because we had already split off from that friend group due to moral disagreements, where they kind of wanted a lot of stuff to happen at a party, and I'm like, I'm not participating in this. And so we
Oh
decided,
shit, Shoky was dating in the 70s, bro.
shit, I wish. But anyways, but we'd already made a moral decision to kind of cut these people out because they were just going a different direction than we were. We're trying to fucking make a serious thing. We're trying to have a family, So if we're gonna go down
You
this
can
route,
still have a serious thing and a family and still get involved in key parties. Just everybody has to be on the same page.
exactly, but we weren't. So either way,
Mm.
so whenever we broke up, she went back to that friend group, no problem, arms wide open. And then like I would see them out at things and I would talk to them, it would still be amicable, but it's like, well, this is like literally like I feel like you guys are cheating on her with me. It's like that kind of awkward thing. And they're like, well, and then it just kept getting more and more awkward to the point like then it turned into animosity in the last few years. And then I just said, fuck all y'all. It's like we could have tried a lot harder than this, but you guys, it's like I'm the only one making any effort, and I've known you guys for fucking 20 years. So, fuck it. But either way, that's a kind of a bummer start to the episode, but it is what it is.
Way to bring up the energy.
Yes, we're going to go the other direction now, guys. Welcome back to episode 22. Now You've Made It Awkward podcast. And actually, as we're recording this, I have episode 21 up to be edited. So the being a week off now actually is kind of helpful, except I forgot where the numbers are until I just said it out loud. So I am Shoky. You can follow me at all the Shoky related things down below in the description. And we also have Rikki over here.
What's going on, y'all?
And you can follow his work for Nerd Rage Radio on Facebook, where he makes the promo videos for every episode of Nerd Rage. And, of course, over on the Realm Hatton Project, which I popped into ever so briefly on Friday night for your hangout.
Yep, saw you.
Yep.
Talk shit at you, and then you left.
Yep. I mean, I literally just started the live stream, and I'm like, okay, I know they're going to go live any minute now, so I'm going to pop into the chat when I can. Just so Rikki can say I've actually... seen their live stream for once.
And I already repaid the favor. I started one of your videos, and as soon as the opening intro was done, I turned it back off again.
Oh, good,
so,
good.
We're even now.
At least you heard the opening music. Good. And then over here, we have our newcomer, Dormammu / Robert over here.
Konnichiwa, name wa Dormammu-san. Hajimemashite. How's everybody doing?
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
As he opens with some nice Japanese. And you don't really follow him at anything, but that's okay. You can catch him sometimes.
But yeah, you follow him everywhere. You just don't realize it.
You can catch him in the dark dimension.
I'm everywhere and nowhere.
you can catch him in the dark dimension where he is constantly trapped in a time loop.
Hey, you know what? I still don't like that Doctor Strange. Sorry.
You should be, because it's awesome.
It's trash.
All right, so
yay! It's so nice to have somebody on here that agrees with me. Woohoo!
I need Mike back. Anyways, so we do have some comments from episode 20. I knew we would get some as soon as it posted. So from Jay, otherwise known as...
Quick reminder of what episode 20 was about.
Episode 20 was, I said, I'm not drunk, you're drunk. It was that last episode where it was just you and me talking.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So Jay and/or Jan Goza said, this is the fart talk, by the way. Just for reference, all these comments are both fart talking. Jan said, I have cleared a 3-bedroom house before, ate the wrong thing that week.
Good Lord.
That week. How long did this clearing go on for?
Good Lord.
I farted on Tuesday. They came back on Saturday.
Damn.
We had he fumigated. Single man fumigation party. And then good old Will left a good comment here. Said, as towards this fart stuff, before my dad and I moved to where we live now, we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, my bed on one side of the room and his on the other. I don't remember what he ate that fucked up his stomach, but he was ripping ass all night. It got so bad I had to open a window because the farts were taking over the room. Of course, the next day he just laughed because he's a man-child.
Then we're man-childs because that's funny.
Yes, we are man-childs as well. I actually laughed at the comment in the comments.
I will be honest that I will be honest that I personally giggle like a 5-year-old that if especially when you're in a work bathroom situation, there's the stalls.
Yes.
And basically there's this smell that is making the walls bleed.
Mhm.
Certainly that is going to make me laugh because I'm so sorry, yet I am not.
You sank my
So
battleships.
I was gonna say it's a battle shit situation. Okay, so we do have an email to read, and it is from Jay, and it is insanely long. I am going to skip part of it because it's a top 5 thing that we can actually do later on. So I don't want to preface that, so we'll save that to come back to. So he says top 5 best video game movies in his opinion. Honorable mention: Mortal Kombat Annihilation, because of
Ugh.
Smoke and Cyrex. This motherfucker put Annihilation on the best movies list. We knew something was wrong with this guy to begin with.
Oh, Will, you used to be. No, this is Jay or Will.
This is Jay.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought it was Will. I was like, man, you used to be my favorite. I don't know anymore. But okay, Jay, you be you, dude.
Yep.
Annihilation. Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
If
And
he's only ever seen 6 movies and he put Annihilation on the list, fine. But if he's seen anything more than that and it still made his list, he lives in a drug-free zone.
yeah, I don't even understand. Not a drug-free zone.
Yeah, well, free drug zone.
Free drug zone. There you go. The other one. Okay, so he says number 5 is Mortal Kombat. I don't know which one he's referring to. It just says Mortal Kombat. I don't know if that means.
We'll assume the first one since he threw Annihilation on the list.
Let's hope he thinks the first Mortal Kombat was better than Annihilation. Number 4 was Halo Forward Unto Dawn. I can't remember if Forward Unto Dawn was a movie or a series.
It was on Netflix. No, it was on Netflix. I think it was a movie.
Yeah, but it wasn't on there.
It was like one of those like hour and 10 minutes or hour and 18 minutes.
I just couldn't remember if it was movie or series.
Yeah.
But then he has Nightfall right above that, so he put both Halo quote unquote movies.
Nightfall is definitely a series, like because it was episodic.
Okay, so I couldn't remember. I had it backwards then.
Mm-hmm.
So he's wrong because we said movies, not series. All right, so number 2 is Final Fantasy Advent Children / Max Payne unrated. We're not doing ties. God damn it! Stop doing ties. Ties are stupid.
You have to do ties of movies that are at least comparable to each other. Max Payne does not reach the levels of Advent Children.
Well, he does say the unrated version, so maybe there's something more there.
Does the unrated version not have Mark Wahlberg in it?
No.
Then it's not any better.
Actually, it might. I don't know. Well, how about this? Since we know Nightfall is a series, we'll bump that off and we'll put Max Payne under Advent Children.
Yeah, we're fixing your top 5. We're fixing your list. You're wrong. And Annihilation, completely gone.
What is wrong with you?
Annihilation.
So I'm assuming he's only ever seen 11 movies, and Annihilation's right in the middle between the bad and the good list. And then he's got Resident Evil CG all. So I guess there were Resident Evil movies.
The cartoon ones?
I don't know. It just says CG. I have no idea. I guess it's the non-movie movies.
I was gonna say I was thinking the graphics, computer graphics ones. Like
That's what. Yeah. Well, I've never seen him, so I didn't know what he's talking about. No. Okay, so I'm skipping his next conversation because he jumped.
That was his number 1. Was the
Resident Evil CG movies? Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, to each their own, except for Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Sorry.
I know we're all allowed to have opinions, and so that means your opinion is right to you. But here's my opinion: that list was trash, trash.
Hey, he put Halo movies and Final Fantasy on there, so
well, no, he put a Halo show in there.
Well, no, we edited the list, so he did not. Okay, so he has another top 5 discussion that he started, so I'm leaving that out for now. We'll come back to it when we actually do that discussion.
Thanks for the comment. Try harder.
Yep.
Yeah, do better.
Do better. Do better next time. All right, so because I talked about he's basically commenting as he's listening to the episode. So I said we had a morning, noon, and afternoon school newscast. The noon and afternoon were punishment for lesser things. I don't even know what that means. The noon one, you had to leave 4th period to do the newscast. Oh, that's right. He worked on it. That's right. You had to leave the 4th period to do the newscast, split 4th period, 30-minute lunch, 20-minute show, 8-minute across campus, 2-minute to eat lunch. Oof, that fucking blows. Let's see here. He rated episode 3 of the Rome Hatton Project. He rated it a 4.0. So I guess that's a lower score than it had before. Yeah, because you guys were an average 5 before, so he gave episode 3 a lower.
He's just rating. His email is just proving me more and more right about what his trash opinion is on stuff.
But he did say, he said the best part of episode 2 is Wolfie's car ride with EE. I haven't watched, so I don't know the reference. What is he talking about?
Wolfie's car ride with EE?
I have no
I
idea.
don't know what the fuck he's talking about either. They don't even live in the same fucking state.
No idea. No idea what he's talking about. It's your podcast. You should know. Okay.
I don't know if he's talking about the Hangout or the actual episode 2. I don't know which one.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I might not know that the Hangouts don't count. Let's see here. Okay, so he's got questions. It says, are Flame Toys kits worth the price? The cheapest I can get locally is $50 to $60. That's basically the average price for a Flame Toys kit now. I think there's only been one that was slightly lower than that, but they're all in the 40 to 80,
40 to $90 range.
Yeah, and the $90 ones are like Devastator, the bigger ones. So
I will speak from experience because I just got the Windblade kit. With it. It's so far, I mean, I just started on it literally, but it's very well put together, very nice build. If you're not the type that's going to completely customize it out like me, I'm not like interested in taking a bunch of paint to it. It's ready right out of the box. And so it has me interested in other kits that they are going to be releasing for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a handful of them. I've done 3 versions of the original Prime. I've done IDW, G1 Prime, 2 of the Seekers.
You're talking about the Furai model kits or whatever?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I've done, I don't have a Thundercracker yet. I need one. No, Skywarp, sorry, wrong one.
Their Rodimus look pretty nice.
The Rodimus is cool. I'm debating on the Rodimus.
Or Hot Rod, whatever
3K.
it is.
No, they're all called Rodimus because it's Japanese. The Bumblebee was one of my favorite ones because I customized mine. And I did a really good paint job on it, so I really like the Bumblebee one.
Nobody sucks my dick like I do.
Right.
My paint job's spectacular.
No, my paint jobs are good to me, but like compared to what Sean can paint, it's very different.
Oh, well, that's not even a fair comparison.
No, it's not.
Literally using professional grade shit on it.
Yeah, he uses automotive paints on his shit. I'm using Tamiya model paints. But I mean, like there were the original Prime and the original Seeker mold is the ones that are the least good. And I would say the least worth the money, but that comes down to the quality of the plastic and the quality of the polycaps, because the polycaps for the joints were sized incorrectly and they split like within a week of putting it together, so your joints come very, very loose, or they're so dumb that they actually used polycap material, which is kind of a hard rubber, hard plastic, soft rubber kind of thing, whatever you want to look at it, for the joint itself. Like instead of using it as a mounting point to make the joint softer, they use the entire joint out of that material. But they only did that on the earliest models. They don't do it in the later ones.
That's gross.
Yeah, it is. But like the G1 Prime is a fantastic kit. I love that. Actually, the IDW Prime is a really, really cool kit. The way that they engineer it so that when you move the leg, the wheels that are on the back of his calf actually tuck in with the second knee joint. So it's actually really cool how they engineered that. And like Robert said, you don't have to paint them. The stickers aren't the best thing in the world, so unless you really care, I would definitely not say not put any stickers on them, except for maybe the logos, obviously.
You need to start calling him Dormammu, because every time you say Robert, I go to ask who you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't like calling him. So you know him as Dormammu, I know him as Robert. But either way.
You know him as Dormammu. Yeah,
but either way. I do still have what do I have? I got Megatron, I've got not Nemesis, Shattered Glass Prime, and I think one other one's still in the backlog to do. I do want the Hot Rod / Rodimus kit, so I can paint it up. I'm gonna do like Sean did, do it like 3 different color reds, stuff like that. The Megatron, I've got the Autobot Megatron, not the Decepticon Megatron. So they need to do a G1 Megs, and they haven't done it yet, and it kind of sucks. So I'd say they're worth it. I am gathering from Jay that he doesn't have that much money. So I get that when it comes to dropping $50 on like one thing that you have to put together, it may not be 100% up your alley, but I'd say the later kits are all worth it. The Seekers only have a couple small issues, but they're
Doesn't necessarily
cool.
mean it's a money thing. Hold on a second. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a money thing, because refer back to our previous conversation where I talked about going to Melting Pot with the wife. I
Yeah.
can afford to go to Melting Pot. I just think it's fucking stupid to pay that much for something I got to cook for myself.
No, I agree with that.
But maybe
but
that's just how he feels about it. Like,
Well-
it's that stupid to pay that much if I have to build it.
Well, the reason I said that is because he told me that he has to save up to buy one of our shirts. So that's why I say money is
I got
tight.
you.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we have new merch that I put up. It is the I Am a Nymean shirt, and I've got that in ladies and guys.
You brought
and
that
stuff
up
like.
because I wanted to bitch about that, about how to talk to you for 2 months to get you to do the Duke one, but you made that Nymean one overnight.
Yeah, because that was an easy one. Actually, I did the Doof one overnight when I did it. It just took me 2 months to get to it. Either way, let's see. Oh, here's the thing. My G1 Transformers are the Bayverse movie ones. So his
God.
Transformer knowledge is starting at Bayformers.
This is still Jay, right?
The same email.
It's starting to make a lot of sense about why you and I do not agree on this, on the same kind of shit. I'm glad that you don't like the stuff that I like. If you pay versus G1.
Well, I mean,
So
but-
Jay, that's great.
So
we're
he's like
glad that you're a
17.
fan.
so it's good for
Glad
you.
you're a fan. Go backwards.
Go backwards. Well, here's the problem. It's one thing for us to say that as people who grew up with G1. To have a grown man go back and watch G1 now after seeing the Bayverse
it's rough.
first,
It's rough.
going to be hard. There's
It's
no.
going
I'm
to be
not-
rough, but
How about
here's
this?
the thing.
No, hold on.
I'm not even telling him to go back
Go
and
ahead,
enjoy
go
it that
ahead.
much. I'm just don't want him to say anything about liking Bayverse. Ugh.
How about instead
like
of going
what you
back to G1, at least go to Transformers Prime? Like,
Prime
at
would
least
be a better one.
that's a good one to go
Animated
to.
Would be
Or
better.
animated.
Animated's good too. Both were based essentially around the Bayverse movies, but without having
Or
to directly
Robots in
reference them.
Disguise 2005 would be fine.
Is that the one that was car robots?
That is one of those car robots, yes.
That one's okay, but it's not close enough to a G1
Still better than
continuity.
Bayverse.
Oh, it is.
Well,
but
it's still a decent introduction.
I
And
think-
here's the thing. I take it from the perspective, and this is my own personal experience.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to know everything about Transformers, and I certainly don't. I'm not so far into it that I would want to do an anthology and write my own book. But I take it, if you are a collector and you enjoy the topic, and as an educated individual would tell you, the best thing to do is to learn more about that topic.
yes.
Now I get, you see, Robert's trying to be PC and be nice
Who?
to you guys and stuff. Dormammu. So he's trying to be nice and PC and all that shit. And I get the thought process of, okay, it's at least it's something. It gets them started in Transformers. It gets them somebody supporting the brand and blah blah. I get all that. Fine, whatever. It's still fucking trash, and the fact that you defend it is trash.
Not defending it because I will.
Not you,
I will-
him.
No,
Not
Wait,
you,
no,
him.
hold
well,
on.
Okay, yes.
Hold on.
no.
He didn't defend it. He just said that that's his reference.
That's
He
his
didn't say it
reference.
was
That
good or
starting
bad.
point.
He didn't say it was good or bad. He said that's where he's starting from.
He said that's his G1, which means that's what you like.
No, that means he literally started there. Doesn't mean he
That-
liked.
he's saying that's where
That's
he's
his only
starting from.
reference.
That's his starting point, right?
Yeah, so just saying it's G1
He's
doesn't
not
mean
the
it's a good
first.
thing.
He's not the only one. We have plenty. There are plenty of people and plenty of collectors that are joining. That
I mean,
are
it
new.
is possible he's like 26 and he started watching them when he was 5. Or
Get that. My kids have seen it. My kids appreciate the movies. I can appreciate it from the fact that it is a Transformers movie. Whoop-de-doo.
there are
I
some
can
things
appreciate all that
transforming
stuff.
in the movie.
But let me tell you what, my kids wanted to see those movies, and I said, okay, I'll watch them with you. But then you're sitting down and watching these with me. Now that they've seen all of them, guess which ones they prefer to put in on their own without even asking? The G1 cartoon.
But at least those were
We own
actually
all
made for
of it.
kids.
We own all of it, and they would rather watch those than watch the Bayverse.
So who's with me that we need to start an island nation where we just raise all our next generation as though it is the 80s? And we just
You don't
go
have to start an island nation. Parents just have to be parents and be hands-on and proactive in their parenting. My kids love 80s cartoons and 80s games because I made it a part of their life.
Exactly, but
And-
they still live in modern day. I'm saying the whole
Yep.
fucking thing is raising like it's the 80s and 90s again.
I mean, does that mean we're gonna have Coke everywhere like they did in the 80s? Is this
We
that
can.
kind of
I
island?
mean, it's still pretty
I'm in.
relevant as long as it's
Sign me the fuck
as long
up.
as it's clean and doesn't have as much fentanyl in it. Then it'll be okay.
Yeah. Sign me the
Nostalgia
fuck up.
forcing is not always the best tactic to take.
I
No,
guess
you have to be careful with it. See,
Yeah,
you
you
are
have
very much touching on a thing, because if you try to force it, you can make them hate it because they had to watch it.
I guess that's also true. Yeah. You know what's funny?
Just because my kids listen to Kids Bop doesn't mean I'm not going to tune into the 80s station and have them listen in for a little bit, just so that they can understand where the music originated from.
So
Exactly.
So just on that topic about, I guess, nostalgia forcing, and I don't want to, not necessarily the same thing, but it's in the same vein. So whenever, how long ago was this? I think 4 years ago, I discovered that, my wife, who is
Nice.
only 2 years younger than me, grew up in the 80s and the 90s, had never seen The Last Unicorn. Even as a female, she managed to never see The Last Unicorn. So
I've never seen it.
I did have her watch it.
What?
You're talking about the cartoon one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I might have seen it a long time ago. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, it's possible.
Ricky.
I mean, the fact that I grew up with my female cousins basically meant that I watched, outside of my own watching at home, I was watching mostly female-related cartoons, if not
You
just
don't
like...
have to explain to us why you liked My Little Pony and Strawberry Shortcake, dude. Relax. We're not here to judge you.
Well,
We
to be
still love
fair, the My Little Pony movie,
Oh,
that's one
goodness.
thing. If it's the movie I remember it as, where they like... Anyways, let me finish the other unicorn story.
Breaking
before that.
news, y'all heard it here. Shoki's a brony.
Not a brony. But what I was saying, the only reason I saw The Last Unicorn was because it was with my female cousins. But either way, the fact that she had never seen it and then watched it as an adult, it didn't hit the same. Like, for me, I was all of in my nostalgia feels because I watched the movie a bunch as a kid, surprisingly. And even as an adult, I'm like, yep, this still has a lot of the same creep factor, and like, because it was more of an adult cartoon, because like there was cursing in it, there was all kinds of violence and shit like that, so it was like not your typical Disney Don Bluth type film. So like, I don't know, maybe something people might want to check into if they haven't seen it, but
So it was like along the lines of like Secret of Nim type thing.
oh yeah, it was far more
Well,
of
it's the same studio house. It's still Don Bluth after.
Oh, was Don
Disney
Bluth? Okay,
is-
so I was wrong.
yeah. And so keep in mind that, like, so Secret of Nim was the first project after Bluth left Disney Studios,
Mhm.
because he was originally being groomed to be one of the successors to the original Seven Men.
Yeah.
The original Seven animators. And I love shout out to, I love Screen Crush. They just did
They
whole
just did a
workthrough
whole
of this.
thing on it. Yep.
And so Last Unicorn was I think I don't think it was the project immediately after that. It might have been, and you'll have to forgive me on that. But it is one of my favorites, and it was one of my favorites because it was one of the first movies that I got to watch off of HBO when HBO became a thing.
Yeah.
Because my aunt was literally our social blockbuster. She would record the HBO on VHS, and then we would get to borrow some of her VHS catalog. It was one of my favorites, and quite frankly, it has a lot of the elements. You're right. It is not for you have to prepare your kids.
Actually,
because it does have some moments where it's like it's very kind of scary.
It
also is. It's America. It's
Americana
half the
for
soundtrack
sure.
is America.
Yeah.
Come on.
By the way,
I mean,
I just looked it up. I don't know that it was technically Don Bluth, but Rankin and Bass was one of the production companies.
Because it was there. Yeah, but the anime. Yeah,
They're the ones that did the old
animation
Christmas
one.
movies, right?
Yeah, all the
Yep.
things.
The claymation
That's right.
ones.
Yep, exactly. That's cool. I actually did not realize that until I just scrolled through. I wanted to see, to give you an idea.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You'll see some of the same themes or some of the same drawings that you see in like Thundercats.
Exactly.
Thundercats was
Exactly.
Rankin and Bass.
Okay, so Ricky, just to give you an idea of the main voice cast: Jeff Bridges, Mia Farrow, Angela Lansbury, Alan Arkin, Tammy Grimes, Robert Klein, and Christopher Lee were like the main cast.
For
So, like,
Last Unicorn.
Yeah. So like
I'm pretty sure I have seen it. I just don't remember it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's in there. Like, I think it was also along the same lines as the original Hobbit animated movie
Yeah,
as
the
well.
cartoons that they only made that and Return of the King, and it had them both.
Yep. So it's in that same vein, but it just, because we're talking about the nostalgia forcing thing, is like trying to, even now, like, I could watch that movie, but it meant something to me as a kid, especially when the harpy scene, like when that whole freak out thing in the weird like gypsy camp, like, so they had captured a legitimate harpy and were keeping it in their like freak show. But like everything else they had was like a lion with a fucking, they called it a manticore, and they had like strapped some bull horns to it or something. You know, they had a whole bunch of
That's the one with
fake.
this. A manticore is the one with the scorpion tail, right?
Yeah. So they had done a whole bunch of fake nonsense in this thing, but they captured the unicorn and by chance, and like she could sense and communicate with the harpy. So like that's the one other real thing they have, and it's like deathly evil. It looks like a vulture like thing. I think it's got like some like three gross like saggy tits and stuff like that. Like it was fucking like the whole scene, like it was fucking nuts. And I remember that along with the Red Bull, which is the main antagonist as it is. It's a good movie
Strong
for
like bull.
no. Not strong like bull. Red Bull gives you energy, gives you wings. Also forces your entire species into the ocean. So there's that whole thing too. So either way, just going off on that random tangent there. Do still have a little bit more of this email to go through because once again he writes long emails.
Jesus Christ.
Do multiple shorter emails. So he was clarifying that one of the things we couldn't figure out what he was talking about. He said there were 90 to 95 people in the modeling group, and like it was a weird sentence fragment when he sent it the first time. We thought it was a percentage. He was actually talking about the number of people in the group, and he's and a direct addressing to you, Ricky. He said,
okay.
Ricky, it was not the Gundam people that were toxic. One was an armor guy, one was a car guy, one was a figure guy. You're talking about the
Why
people.
is he directing that to me? I'm not a Gundam guy.
Well, no, because you said that if Gundam people are going to be like that, I don't want to be a part of toxic community. Yeah.
Okay.
So he said they all thought that groups had to be separate with no crossover, and to do so was sacrilege. So basically, you had these different genres.
They were elitists.
Yeah. No, they were genre elitist. Yeah. So, and I get that there are a lot of people who are like that in the basically the hobby community, as I call it.
Pretty much every fandom has people like that.
Yeah, but this is the case where
you got mainliners versus fucking third party and KOs and like
that part's true. But when it comes to these things, because it's a creator community, not just a collector community, you're all doing the same action, but applied to different products. So it's like, I'm gonna build this. Well, I can't be involved with you building that. It's like, that's just fucking retarded, in my opinion. Because like it was a similar story at Hobbytown, because we had the IPMS guys, which are that's a international modeling community thing, but they do normal models, vehicles, cars, and these guys were mostly like all like over 40 guys, and they would do monthly meetups, but they were doing it to a theme. Like, okay, this week or this time we're doing all World War I vehicles, stuff like that, you know. So they would announce it, and then they'd get together the next month to show off what they'd done, that kind of thing. But there was no crossover at first with those guys and the Gundam community. Even though we're coming to the same store, we're buying products, in some cases from the same company, and we're using the same space to do the same thing at different times, but there's no crossover until one month when I showed up like an hour and a half early to record something, and I hung out with those guys and I showed them the model kits, the Gundam kits, and like I think 2 or 3 of them actually ended up getting into the hobby and were coming to the Gundam meets. So like you can have crossover for those people who are willing to do so, you know. But I get it. Yeah, there's definitely those kind of people out there. Okay, so he also is suggesting that Ricky watch the Devil May Cry anime or Assassination Classroom. I mean, I can attest to those things too. So, if you're interested in still watching any more anime,
I mean, maybe.
yeah,
I'm
Assassination.
here. My shit was acting weird for a second.
Yeah, there was a definitely a drop off there. I don't know what happened. That's okay. But like Assassination Classroom is definitely different. It's a cool anime, but it's a very, very different type of thing. Obviously, Devil May Cry is going to be following the video game. So, if you're on board, if you like the games, the anime is worth a watch. Also, the Castlevania anime, also worth a watch.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But that was an American anime, wasn't it?
More or less. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, you let me know that the first 2 Tomb Raider games are on Xbox 360. I guess doesn't do me a lot of good now. It's like unless it's on the old like Xbox store where you can purchase old games or something. Oh, and I guess he must have. Did you? I guess you talked about getting married on Realm Hatton Project because he says congratulations on getting married.
Thank you, sir.
Kara has his condolences, even though he spelled her name wrong. And yep, and it says Ricky will call me an asshole, but you didn't.
Nope.
So, and
just like the rest of your email, you are wrong.
You've been wrong the whole time. So he also says Ricky is a
asshole.
Yeah, asshole. He says Ricky is a realm Hutu, a swarm enemy of the Nemeans. We have lore now, apparently. No, that's not true.
Whack ass lore because I'm in both of them.
Yeah,
so.
It's like he can't be the enemy and be a part of both, unless he's a double agent, which he's not, because it's 2 separate things.
I'm Mirage, motherfuckers.
Well, you best be invisible, bitch. So, also he says
Look
sorry.
At your screen. Do you see me?
No, John Cena, I don't. So, and he says sorry for long emails. Just think they could be longer. Or just think they could be longer. There we go. So I had to get the right pause in there. Apologies. Yeah. But yeah, that's going to be it for comments and emails as it goes. And
you gotten any comments recently?
No. Well, episode 20 dropped last week, so we read those first.
Gotcha.
Yep. So if you guys want to write in, you can do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. Link down below so you don't have to remember it or try to figure out how to spell everything. I know some of y'all can have issues with that. It just is what it is. And please email us so we have something to read other than Jay's emails. That would be great.
Please, somebody write in with a good opinion.
Well, we don't care if your opinion's good. We're going to talk about it anyways. We might talk shit about it. Mm-hmm. All right. So, how about our weeks? How's y'all's week been since last we talked?
Everybody had a case of the 5 o'clocks. And what I mean by that, and I'm sure some of you out there and listening to this have had the same, is where 4:45 rolls around and all of a sudden everybody suddenly realizes that they have something for you to do. They waited all day long until that 4:45 period when they suddenly sent an email and said, hey, can you take care of this?
Yep, I've had those before. Except they were my 3:30s. So
what I really hate
everybody saved it right for the end of the day.
Does that shit.
Yeah. So I would be approaching the end of my day, or at least the end of my particular set of work, and I could tell, like, I just know what's going to happen. So I'm looking over at our communication board, just watching, waiting for that little light to go off. 3:31, ding, fuck. Yeah, it's like just every day. It's like, oh, by the way, can you go do this? Or they always would say, it was never a question. It was always we need you to go do these things. Like there was one time I replied, I don't care what you need. It goes against what I gotta do. It's like, it's funny how when I need something, you guys leave me out to dry, but every single day you come at me with what someone else needs. There was one time...
Yeah, drop what you're doing to do it immediately.
Yeah, they've done that before, too. They literally told me to stop doing what I was doing to come and do something else. I was like, no, this is literally a priority that supersedes what you need at the moment. Sorry, I'm going to do this first.
It's like, I'm sorry, your urgency is not my urgency.
Exactly.
That it's urgent, but it's not my urgency.
My mom used to say, procrastination on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
Yeah, I actually used almost that same line on them one day because they said, hey, this happened, we need you to do this. And I literally said, I don't have to do that. It's not my job anymore. And they kept pushing, and I'm like, and I said an emergency, or not an emergency. What was it?
Procrastination on your part?
No, it wasn't procrastination. Oh, it was poor planning on the part of management is neither my fault nor my problem.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like they were not happy with me when I said that shit. I'm like, hey, look, I chose this job so that I didn't have to do that anymore. It's like I don't have to be at your beck and call for that anymore because I'm doing this now. They weren't happy,
Yeah,
but either way.
I may have responded with one of the best emails that kind of got circulated around, and this was Monday after being off all last week and then returning back, and then
Oh yes.
we had somebody that asked a question, and they sent it to our group, and they were like, so and so has said that this isn't happening, and why isn't this happening? And they proceeded to send a screenshot of what the issue was, and so my response in retort was maximum snarkiness, which is
Ooh.
sometimes my default setting. And I said, well, that's because there's no robotic process that takes care of this. You are talking to the robot. It is me. I am Robbot. And Robbot proceeds to do this once a week, this activity that is required. And if you're not properly flagging what your data is supposed to look like with the proper syntax, then Robbot is not going to be able to take care of this. So in order to get this accomplished, here's what the individual will have to do, and Robbot will then take care of it. Sincerely, Robbot. And so the response back, because I asked for it to be sent out kind of on a blast, but to the head of the department was followed by a bunch of emails saying that was literally the pick me up I needed for the day, because there's always this perception that and I'm sure no matter what job, what role, what title, what you do, there's always this perception that somehow something automated will do it for you, or that somebody else is going to take care of it. No, that's not always the case. Sometimes it will be you that takes care of it, or it will be an individual that takes care of it. And then that's not automated. That's not programmatic. That's somebody actually putting forth an effort that you don't realize is happening.
Yeah, I know that the higher ups at our company definitely feel like everything that happens below them is robotic. It's like everything is there and happens automatically as soon as they say it and happens without fault. I'm very much aware of that part.
Right.
Yeah.
That won't be a problem because it will be taken care of automatically. No, that's not really how that works.
Yeah, this is also why I didn't make it in management. Because I don't work like that. And I don't treat people like that.
See, that's why I feel like I kind of feel the same way too. Like I've not had a manager in my title, and it's partially because I feel like if I'm going to do the work, I should be willing to do the same work that everybody else is willing to do.
Yeah.
I've been a manager a couple times, and I've noticed my issue as a manager is the same reason why it doesn't happen very often, is because I don't pussyfoot around when I say something. Like you're in my kitchen and you fuck something up, I'm like, are you fucking stupid? And I've come to find out you can't really talk to employees like that, and they don't
We can't all be
appreciate
Gordon Ramsay.
it.
Yeah, no.
Well,
So,
I
yeah,
did
You
it
can't put
before
you
Gordon
can't put
Ramsay.
somebody
I did it
between two
before
pieces
Gordon
of
Ramsay.
bread.
Idiot sandwiches. That's right.
Yep.
I did it before Gordon Ramsay was cool. So
I feel personally, I feel like in order to get respect, you have to give respect, and in order to get that respect, you also actually have to be willing to state your facts, and also state what is what is the appropriate measures.
I'm
Don't be willing
1,000%
to
a
just take it.
reactionary.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm 1,000% reactionary. If I come at you like an asshole, you have done or said something that makes me think you're an asshole. So that's why I'm reacting that way.
Mhm.
And people don't like that. They don't. And I tell people up front I'm that way. So then they take it as a personal, like, oh, he just called me an asshole. Well, yeah, I did. But that's because what you just did was an asshole move. So you shouldn't have done that. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Agreed. And like, and towards respect, I like, and I always tell people this is like, look, everyone's going to get a base level of respect, and we're going to go up or down depending on every interaction from here on out. It's a it's a constant ranking. However, whatever
I'm
respect,
ranking even when you think I'm not ranking. I'm
Yeah.
watching and paying attention.
so whatever respect you give me or the people around me is probably what I'm going to give back to you on whatever level that is. Especially if you're my boss, because I don't see people as better or worse than me because someone has told me they are. my experience with you is what's going to be. So, like, there was one time, the VP of our company, or at least locally, I should say, came in to inspect our workplace to see what was going on, and I was in the middle of having a really big issue. I should say that, struggling hard because of the way things were going on, and it happened right in front of him. I'd be like, basically, I wanted to look over at him because my manager is with him, doing a guided tour thing, and they're watching me struggle. Part of me wanted to look over and yell, "Look, I don't give a shit who you are, what kind of suit you're wearing, or whatever. If you're not going to grab some of this shit and help me, get the fuck off my line." I mean, it's like I could have been fired right then and there for that. I was just like, look, you're not better than me because you purchased your way to the top. It's like, you're only here because you bought into the company. You had not done this job. You've not been where I've been. So either get the fuck away from me and stop judging me on how I'm doing it, or fucking pick up some shit and start helping me. That's the way I look at it. It's like, I don't care that you're my boss because, somebody said you are. Show me you're the boss, and show me you're willing to do, like Dormammu said, it's like, if you don't know how to do my job, don't tell me how to do my job. So don't judge me on what I'm doing if you've never done it.
I got to say, I'm pretty lucky at the place I'm at now that my kitchen manager and our CDM will actually get in there in the trenches with us and do stuff, like to the point where I literally have to be like, hey, look, you guys,
when it's a kitchen,
you
that
hired
totally
us
makes sense.
to do this. You hire, but they won't. You'd be surprised how in 20 years in restaurants, how little that actually happens.
Really?
And I'm not talking about, you'll get restaurants where the managers will come back there and they will work, but they're doing it the whole time bitching, saying it's your fault that they had to be back there. Not the fact that it's just busy and we're short staffed and we need extra hands. It's just the whole time you're getting bitched out saying it's your fault that it's behind.
Yeah.
These guys will get in there to the point where I've literally had to kick them up. Like, look, I will do that. We don't need your help with that. Oh, I can do it. I know how to do it. I'm like, I get it. I'm not saying you don't know how to. What I'm saying is you pay us to do this.
Yeah.
You see those two people sitting over there just on their phones? You're paying them to do this job that you're doing.
Yeah.
I said, you go over there, go do something else. Go do something that I can't do. Go do the,
See,
and I don't say it disrespectfully, but go do something that I can't do. I can cook. I can't go do your computer paperwork because I don't know which systems y'all use. So go do that, and I'll do this.
Yeah. So we've had similar issue where we've had to have managers or supervisors filling in for people because we're shorthanded, but then they also started filling in because they didn't want to actually hire anybody else.
Yep. They'll do that with salary people. It saves labor.
Yep. So they got caught on that. They got held to the fire with the union on that. Because one dude cleared up so much money because the supervisor was working. He kept track of like a whole month of a supervisor doing a job of an employee, and he got paid for that. It was nice. But anyway, back to Rob's week.
But that's basically how the week was. Everybody had a case of the case of the 445s and 5 o'clocks and try and get things out. So, but the week was good otherwise.
Yeah. Did you watch anything?
Like, I think it went well. We did have our family movie night of watching Lightyear.
Ooh.
Nice.
Which
I also watched it.
Personally, we actually, the whole family really enjoyed it. My wife in particular, Ms. Dormammu, she really liked it. She didn't mind that it the way that it started out.
I didn't mind the way it started out, but Shoki definitely wanted it to be different.
Well, and this is where I'm going to.
No, the intro was fine. The beginning was fine. I wanted the ending to be different.
This is where I started a small segment called Shoki was right.
The best segment ever.
Shortest segment ever. Shortest.
No, it will
one
be
time
short,
use.
but it will be.
Doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
But I do agree. Like there should have been that punch at the end rather than at the very beginning.
Yeah.
To try to really capture that feel. And also because it's Pixar, you should know better.
For those who don't know or didn't hear me talk about this, I predicted that
translation. He read spoilers.
No. This was before the movie had even come out. So I predicted that when Lightyear ended, post credits, it would zoom out, and you would see it's a movie theater, and you would see Andy having just watched the movie, because it became apparent that Lightyear was meant to be the movie that Andy saw in Toy Story that led him to buy the toy in the first place. But a lot
There
of
was a
people,
promo poster to that effect, wasn't there?
there might have been, but I don't
There,
remember.
I think there actually was, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously that didn't actually happen in the movie, but the movie is opened with a text on the screen that says in 1994 or something like that. Yeah.
The year before Toy Story happened.
Yeah. Well, right before it did.
Yeah.
And it says that, Andy saw this movie that caused him to buy a Lightyear toy, and this is that movie. And like, that seems very anticlimactic, given it's the same studio doing this. It's like, you're telling me you couldn't make this actually meta. It's like, and I figure it's a time thing, because they could have done it. They really could have.
I just don't think they cared to.
I think that I'm glad they added it to it so that people would stop trying to make certain movies fit the Pixar theory, which I've talked about.
Does it exist in this universe, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and it was funny. One of the channels I watched, Super Carlin Brothers, had to eat crow because they had this whole thing prior to the movie coming out. It was like, well, where's Lightyear going to fit in the Pixar theory? And half the comments where people are like, guys, you got to realize not everything is in one timeline. Some of these things are works of fiction within that universe. And like and then they finally put out a thing after the movie dropped. They're like, okay, we were wrong. It's like, maybe we have to adjust the whole thing. It's like, yeah, you do. it's like you can't fit everything in the one timeline, because half the shit makes no sense. But either way, continue.
But otherwise, no,
I was
it was
right.
definitely an enjoyable movie. Yeah, you were right on
No,
that.
no. You
I
were
was
in the
right in that it
ballpark.
should have been there, not right in that
You
it.
were in the ballpark.
I was right in saying that it was a meta moment. I was
The other
just
thing,
wrong
which
in the
not everybody
application.
would agree upon, perhaps, but I'm almost done with the terminal list. I am very much enjoying it. I definitely
Love
think
it.
like it
Fucking love
is definitely a series where you will consistently ask yourself, is that Chris Pratt?
Yeah.
Because he nails so much of it. And I know that a lot of the commentary on it has been that it's very long-winded. It's why was this digested out into X number of episodes? I get it. Like, it does move slowly at certain points, and I'm like, come on, let's go. But in the same respect, I think they're trying to craft this story about how the main character, is played by Chris Pratt, is struggling. He is at the maximum point of struggling
He's
literally the worst possible situation, the worst possible scenario, the worst possible thing that you could ever really want for. It's like the 10th level of hell. If you were to say, I want this character to be in the utmost pain and suffering possible, this is it. And so to actually show that and to show how it affects everybody around him, it's good storytelling, but I think it's also done in a very good visual way.
Yeah.
It does have its extremes. But it also highlights, and it's
what episode are you on, by the way?
Where art meets reality. It's very telling about what soldiers go through, what anybody in the armed forces, anybody that's served, has to go through.
Where have you left off on it, so I don't accidentally spoil something?
I am currently midway through episode 5.
Okay, all right. So I just want to make sure I didn't spoil anything by talking about it. So there was somebody in my friends list who commented on it the other day and said it's such an unrealistic depiction. I was like, yeah, it's partly fiction, but it's like all the stuff that the SEALs go through, the technical stuff and things like that, is like, that's pretty spot on. Like the training and all the kind of stuff that they do for that.
The training,
it's
and
all
honestly,
really spot on.
Part of the PTSD. So
yeah. So
my brother-in-law did a tour in, and he actually was shot, but it hit his armor on his vest, and the armor stopped it. So without that, like he actually had to go for 2 weeks without that armor plate because it was broken and they didn't have a replacement.
So
he says like that's that's something you don't get over.
Oh yeah, and you got to think he's on in the show Reese. That's Chris Pratt's character. I think he said he did like 6 tours or something like that, and eventually, he's in the SEALs. He's a special ops team.
Mm.
So it's like not only has he gone through hell, both in training, but then actually out there. And then the more the story unfolds, it does get really crazy as the story continues to unfold. But also, the whole series reminds me of the movie Man on Fire.
with
With
Denzel.
Denzel. Because there are some extreme kills in this show.
Very much so.
And
very much so.
Watching it, I looked at it and I'm like, they could have made this a movie, but it wouldn't have been nearly
I'm glad
as good.
they didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would not have been as good. Like, actually given the time. So this is what we talk about with the Marvel problem all the time. Is like they'll build out a story across 6 or 8 episodes of a show, but then they'll slowly get to some shit and then they rush through the last 2 episodes. This show balanced everything really well. But I don't understand how they're going to do a season 2.
Well, when I was watching it, because I was watching it on my phone, and in the top corner of the Amazon Prime thing, it kept trying to get me to go get the book. So I'm assuming it's based on a book series.
Oh, it could be.
I could be wrong. I don't know if it was just one book or whatever, but it looked like it was based on a series.
Yeah,
it is based on a series. The author did serve, but it's not realistic events.
Oh, yeah, of course,
yeah. So
what I'm saying is that's how they would get to a season 2, is they would just dig into the books. And
I guess so.
I mean, it's just like Jason Bourne. At the end of the Bourne Identity, he knew who he was and all that. So technically, that was the end of the story. But Ludlum kept that shit going for years.
Jason Bourne, Jack Ryan.
This is very much in the Bourne Identity. Vein.
Yep. Stop talking.
No,
stop talking because that's
well, no, because he's at least that deep. He's already seen some of the stuff that's going on, so that's not spoiling anything.
No, it's not spoiling anything for him.
But I do appreciate giving me that buffer because I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Getting there.
No, that's fine.
Enjoying it.
We know you don't have the free time to watch.
Episode 4 or 5 is where the big turn happens, and that's when everything you're like, oh, you'll like start thinking about. I know I did personally. Let me say, I started thinking about prior episodes and shit. Like, oh shit, that make like. With that new information, you'll be able to look back at the shows you already watched, and everything will slightly change and make more sense.
To be fair, no spoilers technically. I sort of saw the end coming, like by episode.
Oh, I guessed the end.
Yeah, like
I knew that.
I think it was episode 4. I guessed the end. I was like,
the first thing I went with was I thought it was going to be a Sixth Sense type thing.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was going to be that for a little while, but because at first there was no interactions with other people with these other characters that we're talking about without saying anything.
That's right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was, and I was like, okay, so it's not Sixth Sense, then it's got to be this.
So I have a question because I didn't bother to look this up. The reporter Katie, isn't that Rose from Star Wars?
I don't know.
I think so. Rose Tico from the later Star.
I don't know if it is because you'd think the internet would be on fire if it was.
I'm pretty sure it is. And she's really good in this. Like, and you're right about that whole thing with Reese. Like, and Mike talked about it whenever he talked about the series in the first place. That got us all to watch it. There's so much going on.
I was watching it at the same time as Mike.
Oh, okay. I was not. I watched it on recommendation. But either way, like, I don't want to give anything else away, but like the action is fantastic, and like
so realistic, it's scary realistic.
True.
The answer is no. She was in the Joy. She is
Joy Luck Club.
Joy Luck Club. She's in live action for Mulan.
Okay, yeah. I got the wrong actress in my head. So I had seen her.
You gave me a ton of shit about me wanting to kill robots, and that made it genocide. But you just thought all Oriental ladies looked the same. So
no, I
really
didn't.
The asshole here.
I just thought one actress looked
like
another
it's an
actress.
Oriental chick. It has to be the lady from Star Wars.
No, that's not what I said. What other things is she in?
Joy Luck Club. Just makes what I just said stupid as fuck.
Yes, it is. Hold on. I want to see her name.
So to finish out, the other is basically we always consistently, pretty much, the wife and I have a show that we like to watch together, and this
Crazy Rich Asians. That's why I know her.
Oh yeah.
And Hustlers. I've seen that too. Okay.
This season's show is Only Murders in the Building. We absolutely love it. We've been watching it. We've been like we're up to current, and
That's
Cannot
one with
wait for
Martin
the
Short
third.
and Steve Martin.
Steve Martin and Martin Short and
Yeah.
Selena Gomez. It is just refreshing. I personally, I mean, so for me, like Steve Martin's one of my top 5 comedians that I would love to meet before they buck the kick it.
What is it? What is it
Um,
called?
It's called Only Murders in the Building. It's on
Okay.
Hulu.
I mean, of course on Hulu.
And
The thing I don't have.
it's sort of like it's on its second season right now, midway through. It's 10 episodes. We're at episode this coming week will be episode 8. And it's produced by Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez. And you wouldn't think, well,
Isn't it?
You think
Go
Selena
ahead.
Gomez, you're like, oh, this isn't, she's not going to do well, but it really does work, and it's very funny. And Steve Martin again is one of my favorite comedians.
It's got a pretty good cast. I'm looking at it.
The
has
way
a
the way it
very
was
good
described to
cast.
me was like, think of the ending of Clue the movie, and it's like that, but every episode, like that, where they were trying to break down the murder and all that.
See, Ricky, I think this would be right up your alley because
Yeah.
it is just on that cusp of being just rude, but
Mhm.
funny rude.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why would
also
you think
Ricky
really,
would like
really
that?
witty.
Yeah, you
Or,
call me
or
rude.
just
I think he might
But
be
no,
calling
I-
you rude, Ricky.
Fuck you for saying that.
Asshole.
but no, definitely, it's a really well produced, well written show. Even if you just watch the first season, you're gonna be like, this is awesome. And again, this is where like I enjoy having at least one show because my wife doesn't do science
Mhm.
fiction. This is one show where we can get together, and just sit and just watch something and enjoy it.
My wife my wife and I do the same thing, and I think this one came on our radar, and we were gonna start watching it, but then something else came up that we both liked, and we watched that, and then just kind of forgot about this one.
Yeah. No, it's
have to
it's
go back
definitely
and
not
check
one
it
to
out.
sleep on. I would go back and check it out. So yeah, that was my week. That was my week of watching and doing stuff.
Pretty cool. Good week.
All right, Ricky.
What I do this week? I worked a lot per usual.
What?
Podcasted a couple times. Got some stuff in the mail. I got in I'm officially part of the G.I. Joe Bent Card Club. I got the Gung Ho and the Destro in on a trade with Chuck. Shout out to Chuck. He helped me out. I traded him off for a bot that he wanted. I got in some more of my Legends figures. I got in the Coneheads from New Age. I got in Thundercracker and Skywarp from New Age. I got in Shatterglass Optimus from Magic Square. I got in the Insecticons from New Age.
So you didn't go for
I can't remember.
You didn't go for the Shattered Glass New Age one.
No, I have New Age David, so I wanted them not to be exactly the same.
Okay.
So I wanted a different mold to play with and try it out. So
Is that the
what else?
new one, or is that your first Magic
the
Square?
David?
No, the Magic Square.
Oh, the Magic Square. How the fuck do I know? I don't know.
Because the
I'm new to all this,
2.0,
so this is
the
all new to
2.0 has
me.
come out, so I don't know.
I don't know. How can I tell the difference? It looks like a purple Optimus Prime with gunshots in his windshield. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I think it'll say on the box which Light of Freedom it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's the same fucking name. They just call it Light of Freedom 2.0.
Yeah. What else? I got Hardhead coming in from McFan's Toys. I was supposed to get it in this batch, but it got put into its own box.
Oh, Mech Fan Toys. Okay.
yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about?
It said McFan Toys.
I know, but I thought it was McFan's Toys. Like it's.
Oh,
I was like, McDonald's makes
It's
a Fans Toys knockoff now.
It's an Irish third party.
Because I've bought McFan's Toys.
McFan Toys.
I bought their upscaled Grimlock from DX9.
I have their
back in the
Chrome
day.
Dome. That was the first Legends scale figure I actually got. I got it from Gort.
Yeah.
I had the Chrome Dome, and that's pretty much the only way you can get the Headmasters. So I'm gonna
Oh,
knocking another one off the list.
Did you see this week New Age showed off the RC recolors and repaints right
Yes.
behind Dr. Wu showing off all their RC recolors and repaints?
I mean, I don't know if it's got anything to do with that.
Oh,
I mean,
it
that's what they
does.
do when
Dr.
they
Wu
put
did it. Dr.
Does.
Wu did it, and then literally 3 days later, New Age shows off all theirs. I will say
Anything you can do, I can do better.
their Nightbird looks good, but I mean,
it's RC. They were gonna do that regardless of who did it.
I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Is I don't think one has to do with the other. It just happened to work out that way. They were both doing RC, so they were both going to get all those repaints out.
Yeah, they just wanted to make sure that they showed it off in the same thing. So it's like if they did
And
it a
then I
month.
got
If they did it a
in.
month later, nobody would care.
Yeah, I got in the Action Force weapon packs. I got the Alpha and the Bravo.
Those are so good.
weapons.
I haven't gotten one.
Yeah.
But
Wait,
those are
I
so
thought.
good.
Hold on. The other week you said, "Fuck a whole lot of them."
Yeah, I don't buy Valverse figures. These are not figures. These are weapons.
Oh, you got just the
accessories.
packs. Okay,
Yeah, the weapons packs.
gotcha.
And I already have a broken one in the package, so
The guns.
they're not top of my list. Yep. I think it's the 380, the one with the box ammo that goes on the bottom.
Ah,
The tab is broken off in the gun, so
Oh.
that's no bueno. So I can't even put the ammo box on it. But what is cool, is the Destro I just got now has a golden AK-47 and gold Desert Eagle as his weapons instead of those weirdo fucking space guns that G.I. Joe put out at that time.
Fucking pimp Destro.
No, regular Destro.
Regular Destro.
So
Okay.
even it goes well even with the regular Destro.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
sure.
right. I
After
have
seeing the review for that, after seeing those, I definitely want to go pursue a pack.
Yeah, they're on Big Bad Toys for like $12. They're totally
Yeah.
worth the $12. Even with that broken one, I can just go buy another pack and for $12 and have one that's not broken, and then just have one for display options.
I'll get them for my
But,
Power Rangers. I'll get
yeah,
my
like they have it's pretty cool. Like the clips are removable, and the one thing that I was really excited about is the Desert Eagle actually fit inside the holster on his hip.
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Because no, I tried some of their other ones. Like I have the fuck balls. What is that guy's name? The Cobra Officer or whatever.
Oh yeah.
His holsters are too big for the other guns that they had in this set are really slim and thin, and they just kind of flop around inside the holster. Same thing with the Gung Ho. I couldn't use any of their guns. They were too thin. So it just happened to work out. And I think it's more because the Destro holster, unlike the Gung Ho one, has that cutout on the bottom where you can slide the tip of the barrel through it.
Yeah.
I think that's what's actually holding it in place, because the Gung Ho one isn't. It's a solid bottom, so the gun just kind of wiggles around inside there.
Yeah.
But it looks cool. They're pretty cool. The thing is, they're very, very rigid, hard plastic. So mine being broken probably isn't going to be the only story you ever hear of somebody saying some of their weapons broke. But
Yeah,
they are cool.
That is the problem with doing it with a much harder plastic. Like I hate when they use, like, NECA and Hasbro tend to use sometimes we'll use like a super flimsy soft plastic so that it'll go in the hands easier, but then your blades or your barrels start sagging over time. So you got to find that nice medium where something is flexible, but your gun isn't rubber.
In the Bravo pack, it has 3, 6, 8, 9 guns with 3 blast effects, and then one of those shit, I'm gonna mess it up. It's the ninja blade that kind of looks like a climbing hook thing.
Shuriken.
It's a shikiri or sharakiri or some bullshit like that.
Shuriken.
Nope, that is a Chinese throwing star. I know what that is. I'm talking about the hook weapon.
Yeah, it's basically like a miniature scythe.
Yeah, like that. And then the other one comes with 10 different kinds of guns, and they all come with blast effects and stuff. I'm really kind of mad about the 3. What is it? I want to say it's an M360. I could be wrong.
Show it.
The one with the ammo box. I'm kind of mad about it because it comes with a collapsible bipod you can attach to it too. So it's actually pretty fucking legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe a 380. What is it? 380 M380? Maybe, I don't know, something like that.
It
was like the old school Vietnam era.
Yeah.
With the ammo box and stuff. But they're pretty cool. They have 2 or 3 different variants on like the M4s and all that, and they have removable clips and stuff, so that's pretty cool. They have different color schemes, so you can make them match different stuff.
Desert, jungle, whatnot.
Well, it's just more like some of them are like that polymer white, some of them are kind of grays, some of them are
gunmetal,
camo, some of them are straight black. I mean, they look really cool. They look like guns that people would have. Like they have that gold AK-47, but they also have the traditional black and Woodstock gold AK-47s. Yeah, so I mean,
that reminds me of something we watched.
They're pretty cool sets. So I'm happy with that. I've started packing up some of my my masterpiece stuff for the big sale coming. That takes way longer than I thought it would, because getting everything transformed and taking pictures and getting all the accessories together.
Speaking,
And I'm OCD and anal, and all my stuff's in like one spot anyways, and it's still a pain in the ass to get all the accessories together.
That's not a
And then after those, I can't remember if I talked about this or not, but I got the NECA Usagi Yojimbo.
you've actually talked about it 3 times.
Okay, well, cool. I'm gonna talk about it again because he's fucking awesome, and I fucking love him, and he's the best NECA figure, and I want 10 of them. And
Can't see what you're holding up there, Rob. What is that?
he's
Star
holding
Wars.
up Star Wars
Is
stuff.
it a poster? Holographic poster?
It's one of those ones that you move back and forth. What do they call that? Not
Yeah, this was a
Holographic.
lenticular that I got. For
lenticular.
20
That's
bucks.
the word. Nice.
20 bucks off.
So he
for
didn't
this
include that in his
off.
week.
Forgot to include that in my week.
Well, it doesn't count then
just
because you
happened.
didn't
It just
include
happened. Just happened today. Just came in today.
Excellent.
It's
Also
very
got
nice.
Motor, I
That's
also
actually
got
really
Motor
cool.
Master yesterday, so quite
Okay.
happy.
The mainline one.
The mainline one.
Oh man, that trailer drives me nuts. I
It's
know
ugly.
everybody dumps shit on DX9 for having that long trailer,
But the
that
the
stumpy
stubby trailer
is
looks
worse.
so ugly. It's so ugly.
It's so much worse because I've seen semis with long trailers on the road. I've never seen a semi with a dumpy trailer like that. I've seen
Not that
box
short.
trailers with dumpy
Not
It's
that
a
trailers.
short.
U-Haul box. Come on now.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it looks like. It looks like one of those white pod things they put outside your house to load up and move. And then
Yeah,
it's just loaded on the back of
23
a
feet.
semi.
It's about 23
with,
foot.
with, this,
Yep.
with a sticker on the side that says "Home of the Giant Donut." You know, from
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's what I got in. What did I watch? I started watching Terminal List again just because I really enjoyed it. I watched Prey when the morning it came out.
Nice.
I enjoyed it. A lot of people are dumping on it, but I actually really enjoyed it.
I've seen nothing but positivity. I don't know who's dumping on
Damn.
it.
I'll show you some places where people are dumping on it,
Okay.
but it's not, to me, I liked it. Like, it's up there. It's tied for second place as my favorite Predator movie. Like,
Yeah, That's
Predator
all I've heard.
1 is the best, and then Predator 2 and this are tied for my second favorites. And
They
then
might-
Predators with Adrian Brody, and then
Yeah.
AVP 1 and 2, and then The Predator way the fuck down that list.
I still haven't seen that one yet. I know
Yeah,
I don't need to, but
No, not that you don't need to. You don't want to. Trust me.
I know it's bad, but I still kind of want to watch it just because.
Here, I'm gonna
it's
prove
bad.
it to you. I'm gonna prove it to you right now.
Uh-huh.
Have Jay write us in and tell us how much he likes that fucking movie. And when he sings its fucking praises, you're gonna fucking know I was right.
Well, we won't hear about that for a week, so we'll see.
Yeah, the Predator. I'll tell you what. I would rather watch Annihilation than watch The Predator again.
Oh, that's
That's
pretty
how
bad.
bad it is.
That's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
I would
thought-
watch
I
the
thought
Halo. I'd watch the Halo TV show again before I watched The Predator.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was bad.
Ugh.
That movie was trash. It should have never been made. I thought that the actors were good in it, like the comedy and stuff, and the lines were good and all that, but the rest of it was stupid. Story was stupid. They literally lobotomize the dog by shooting it in the head, and then it becomes their friend. Like,
I
it's
know.
fucking dumb. It's just dumb.
I've seen everything about the movie, so
Yeah,
nothing
it's
will be a
just dumb.
surprise. I just want to see how dumb it is for myself.
So that's the bottom of my live action Predator mainline movies, and I have to specify it that way because Dust went on there when I said that, and he reminded me of Batman Dead End, which is actually really good for a Predator story. It was like that fan made movie that came out a few years ago with Batman fighting the Predator.
I've definitely
but
never seen that.
That's look up Batman Dead End on YouTube. It's actually pretty legit. I think it's like 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long.
So
It is really quite good. I remember.
So
it.
Batman can get a dead end, but Bobby can't.
None of us can. I have the same set in there without a dead end in it.
I know. I'm just making the joke.
Yeah, got a hashtag release dead end. But yeah, that was Prey, and then so I started watching The Sandman. I'm not gonna get into it because I know I asked you guys, and you guys said you hadn't watched it.
Well, give
yet.
us your opinion without giving us spoilers.
Okay, it goes to the conversation we had before. I have no real ties to the Sandman story. I only read the very first series in a trade paperback 30 something years ago. So I don't have any real preconceived notions going to watch this. So going in with that frame of mind, I am enjoying the shit out of this show.
Yeah.
But if somebody's a hardcore Sandman fan, they might pick this motherfucker to death and be like, oh, well, that's not the right color of glasses. That's not the right color of his hair. That's not the right color of this. That's not this. And then the times are wrong. They might do all that shit to this show. I have no fucking idea. To me,
Mike, is that you?
I'm enjoying the shit out of it. Yeah. Well, Mike will enjoy it because there's no female lead saving guys in it. So
So far.
Fuck out there.
I just threw that out there. So far.
The only female that they've shown so far was a villain on one side and was a servant on the other. So I'm pretty sure he'll love this show. So
wow, women are the bad guy and or serving the men. That's
how Mike will love it.
So it's bad we're picking on Mike and he's not here.
Actually, there is a main. I forgot there is a main. Y'all have read The Sandman or any of them before?
No.
I'm gonna assume she would be a main character, Constantine. It's like the great granddaughter of the actual Constantine.
Correct, which is how they kind of work that into the universe. Yes.
Oh, so like she's somehow she's related to that John Constantine also, but we're talking about like Constantine the Emperor. Like
right.
Like, and they've been at battle, like the forces of good and evil and all that shit. And he was part of that. She's part of that same lineage, and I think John Constantine is related to her.
Can they find a way to get Matt Ryan in this show?
I would put nothing past anybody. So
I think he's the best so far, live action Constantine.
It's tied in. It's tied in. Let's see. Marvel is tied to this movie. DC live action is tied to this movie. And I want to say there was a Star Wars tie-in too. Like I'm trying to think of all the people in it because like one of the characters is the main bad guy.
Okay.
Yeah, like the confused. 6 Degrees of Separation. Yeah. It's like the Patton Oswalt does a voice in it, so he's from the Marvel universe, from the Eternals, and then
he's also MODOK too.
Yeah, the main bad guy from. Was it the main one? One of the bad guys, either the one that you thought was the main bad guy or the actual main bad guy from Wonder Woman, the first movie, is in this show.
Oh, yeah.
Also the one that was pretending he was like the
also
British
from Harry
Lord
Potter. Yes.
Yeah, that guy, he's in it. And then there was like a couple others. It's really, I like it.
So basically, what you're saying is big name actors are in a somewhat big name show.
There are a couple big. Yeah, there's a couple. I was surprised by them so far. But it's really good. Like some of the graphics in it are really good. The CG used and stuff. I'm surprised that it's a like not mainline movie. Let's see.
I think this
goes. There's another one. Game of Thrones.
Discussion. Okay.
Yeah. Is it Tywin Lannister, the dad?
Yeah.
He's in it. He's in the show.
Oh yeah. He's in a lot of things.
Yeah, he's been around for a long ass time. I remember him, like most people forgot this, but I remember him as the goofy smiley face eyeball guy from Last Action Hero. So that's where I remember.
I've never seen that whole movie.
Are you serious?
I've seen half of it. I haven't seen the whole thing. I missed it when I was a kid.
Villain. He's the villain that has like the glass eye, and at one point it has like a smiley face on it and shit.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Charles Dance for those who
Dance. Yeah. I know he's been around for a long ass time, but he's in it.
Very long time.
But yeah, it's good. I can't go too deep dive into it because I'm still kind of learning the universe myself. Because like I said, I have no preconceived notion of it, but it's interesting, and it looks like it's about to get more interesting. Like the last episode I watched had kind of a pretty big ending and left over for what's going to come next. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm enjoying it so far.
Cool.
And I think that was my week.
Alrighty then. Then I shall go. Let's see. Talk about things I got in first. Most recently, I got the final volume of the first run of IDW Transformers. I ordered that.
Was it number 10?
Number 8. There's only 8 in the first run. So I got that one in. I ordered it Friday, got it Saturday morning. Gotta love Amazon when it works. Speaking of which, I did get my refund for the volume 5 that I never received from that one company. Fuck those guys and their fake nonsense. Hopefully Amazon will take their fucking store down. Okay, so speaking of which, I actually read all the way through volume 5, which was the whole All Hail Megatron. Yep. Very interesting story, especially once the Autobots are off the planet and the Decepticons are trying to take over everything. The UN basically unites after they've wiped out most of America. And the UN's like, we're just going to nuke New York and hopefully take them all out. And then the Autobots are dealing with all kinds of crazy shit on Cybertron. Prime is essentially dead. They know there's a traitor amongst themselves. They don't know who it is. And then when you find out who it is, it's really fucked up because you find out extra information with that. And you're like, God damn. I thought I had missed something. And then they introduced what had happened later on.
Just you don't have to be all flim-flammy about it. Just say what you're saying because this
Well,
is
no,
an
because
old
I
comic.
would like
People
some
either read it
people
or not.
to read this on their own without having necessarily heard everything about it.
It's
So,
okay. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and ruin all of Batman for you. Hey guys, Batman's parents die every time,
no,
except
there's
for in alternate universes.
yeah, I was gonna say not every time.
Yeah.
But either way, so I finished volume 5. I'm gonna get back to starting reading volume 6, which is everything after that. So the Autobots come back to Earth, and basically Skywatch, which has been set up to basically defend the planet against alien invaders, or like hunting down.
Oh, you're gonna get into the headmaster shit now.
They've already done the headmaster stuff. That was
They
before.
did that with
was
the guy.
the
with
headmasters
one
was
bad
before
general
that
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Headmasters was before that. Now, if there's now if it comes,
Sunstreaker?
yep, exactly.
Okay.
So if that comes, yeah, the way they introduce headmasters in the comics is insane.
Yep.
But now they're dealing with the fallout of, because they actually introduced in All Hail Megatron was the first introduction of Devastator, because backstory on that, they didn't all have the ability to do combiners. There was only one team that somehow developed the ability through, I guess, experimentation at some point. It may have been
That was the
GXs.
ominous one, right?
No, it's Monstructor.
Monstructor, that's what it was.
Yep.
Monstructor.
So even weirder. So it's interesting how it covers like a literal broad range. So like stuff on Cybertron, stuff going on in the galaxy, wherever, and then stuff on Earth. It's a crazy comic book series, and I really like it. There's a couple artists that I don't like, and it's whenever they basically make it Bayverse style. Like they have moving mouths and their eyes are glowing and look super robotic and they have teeth and stuff. I'm like, I don't fucking like this style. Stop drawing it like this. Go back to the normal fucking stuff.
But the stories, even when the drawings go off
the
rails
story's
a little,
good,
the stories don't go off rails until later. You'll tell, like you'll know as soon as you'll get to the one where you're like, oh, this is where Hasbro stepped in. This is where Hasbro started telling them
when it gets
the
to the Combiner Wars stuff, that's when it's going to happen.
It's like right before that.
Yeah.
you can already feel the tide change while you're
I'll see how far I'm going to go with it in future phases as it was. We'll see. I don't know. I might stop here. We'll see what happens.
I think I got all the way up to the one where Windblade is on the cover.
Windblade is damn near the end of phase 3, so that's where it's already shitty.
I read all the way through all that, and that's the one where I got out. I didn't read past that.
Yeah. But one thing I do like about the actual books, the first covers are monochromatic. It shows one character and it's monochromatic. The second phase, it's monochromatic and then peeling away to color underneath. The third phase, it's in full color for every character on the cover. So it's actually really cool. I do want I don't know where the last stand of the Wreckers is. I know it's in here somewhere. So I need to figure that out. So if I get that far, I'll be happy. The stuff with the DJD, like the DJD doesn't even exist yet. So that's all the kind of stuff I really want to get into.
Technically they exist. They just,
I mean, they're not in there. They're not doing anything yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
they
saying.
retcon them to having existed from the beginning.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying that. Speaking of other comics, along with that, I did get the first issue of Batman White Knight presents Red Hood. That's their
that cover was really cool. You showed us.
Yeah. So that's 2 of the covers. I have the third cover coming as well. So this is one of the only ones where I bought every variant. And the one cover with the female Robin on it, like that is a 1 of 25 cover. So like it's a rarer variant.
That one kind of reminded me of like almost like an anime shot. Like the way they have him.
Oh,
Like,
it definitely is.
With his helmet and stuff.
It definitely is. But so it's a spin-off series. This is the one where Sean Murphy actually handed the story to his buddy who was like one of his editors. And he said, look, I need to do a Red Hood story. Do you want to write it for me? And he's like, yeah.
Is it still Jason Todd?
It's Jason Todd, but this is in the White Knight universe where Sean fucked up and made him the first Robin, which actually adds interesting implications to it. So in this story, the reason why it's important is because he didn't die. The Joker didn't kill him. And I'm not talking they didn't retcon him later and brought him back to life with the Lazarus Pit. The Joker didn't kill him because he gave the Joker what he wanted. He actually gave the Joker Batman's secret identity, and he let him go. So everyone
which is against Joker characteristics anyways, because he never wanted Batman.
But the reason he did that in this one is because he was actually let down by the fact that Jason did it.
Yeah.
Like the Joker was kind of sickened by the fact that Jason gave him the info. And so like because he was basically after all the torture he'd been through and being shamed and all that, he basically ran off and didn't want to be found. Everyone assumed he was dead. Like the building still exploded and all that kind of stuff, but like everybody thought he was dead and he wasn't. He was out there just living his life. And by the time he finally got his shit together and tried to go back, he discovered that Batman already had Dick Grayson to train as the next Robin and replaced him. And here's the fucked up part, because he was the first Robin and because of what happened, Bruce never talked about him. So Dick Grayson has no idea who Jason Todd is. And they don't know the existence of the first Robin, which comes up in this one. So it actually, what happens here, so in the White Knight, Batman Beyond the White Knight, Jason has to eventually come to Bruce's aid and lets him out of prison. And then because of that, he gets fired from his job, and then he kind of goes on the run a little bit. And he ends up going back to his old neighborhood that he was hiding out in. And he goes looking for a job, and there's an opening for a teacher in a dojo. If there's one thing he's good at, it's beating up people. So he goes in there to apply for the job, and lo and behold, here's this girl he knows running the show. And it turns out this girl, whose name is Gan, that's Gan. Could be Gan.
Is that the female Robin you showed us?
That is the female Robin. So years prior to this, when Jason was on the, just kind of meandering from town to town kind of stuff, he came to her rescue whenever she decided to stop some gang that was breaking into local stores. So she took up the Robin moniker because Robin, I don't think Tim exists in this universe. Like, I don't think there's Tim Drake or Damian. So like it stopped with Dick, so to speak. And so she's busting crime. She's got some skills, but not that great. But she basically rides a bike around. She made her own Robin costume. She's almost like Batgirl was like at first, where she makes her own costume, starts being a vigilante on her own separately, and then would join the team. But Jason finds her first. She's about to get her ass handed to her, and he beats up the guys. I forgot what they were called. I think it was the not traffic light gang or something like that, but like there was a red, a yellow, and a green helmeted guy, and they looked a lot like his helmet, that his actual Red Hood helmet. So I figured maybe there might be a tie-in there somehow. And it looks like he hasn't taken up the Red Hood moniker just yet. Like he's still an in-between. So he beats up these guys, tells her to run. The cops show up with Nightwing. He fights with Nightwing for a minute. He thinks he can get the better of him. And then Dick ends up putting him on the ground, puts him in handcuffs, or specifically bat cuffs. And while they're chit-chatting with the cops, he actually ends up getting out of the cuffs, which is supposed to be impossible for anybody. You have to know how to get out of them. So that takes everybody for a loop. But then they knock his ass out and then take him to jail. Later, Gon comes to visit him in jail and basically gives him back his classic animated series. What is it called? The grapple gun. The one like Ricky's got.
Right.
And so he uses that to bust out and stuff like that. And he decides to tell her the whole history because now she's helping him. And he's like, why are you dressed like Robin? And she figures out he had to have been a Robin to know the things he knows. And then like he agrees to train her. So this whole story is going to be
I have multiple grapple guns. Which one were you talking about?
The animated series one. I
like the square one?
Yep.
All right.
So, they tie all these things. Oh, and actually at this particular point in the comics, they actually show when he was Robin was during the animated series era of that comic. So they're actually driving the animated series thing.
Technically, they're not far off because a lot of people have made that argument. If you watch the what is it, the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, the one where season 4 of the animated series where they changed all the graphics.
Yeah,
that's Tim Drake in the story, the new Robin, the little kid one with the short cape.
Yeah.
But his whole entire backstory is Jason
Todd.
Todd's.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but I like how because this is universe, all Batman continuity sort of exists at the same time in a way. Kind of like
the handcuffs though. All you gotta know is the password, which is orphan.
Well, no, this wasn't. This isn't even. This is
womp womp
womp womp. So ironically, they tell you it's like some kind of. The cuffs were made by what's is it Zatanna?
Lucius Fox.
No. Is it Zatanna?
Zatanna, yeah, the magician. And
Yeah.
Zatara was her dad.
Yeah. Oh, Zatara. So the cuffs were actually made by Zatara, and you have to know very specific hand signs to get out of them. So because of course he's trained to, you know, be able to get out of anything that Batman can do, you know, so he learns that. So that's actually.
And if I may, like, there seems to be this impetus by the writers to consistently want to make Bruce like the worst Bat Dad ever. Like, what's up with that? Like,
Well, he gets better. The thing is, like, he always fucks up at the beginning. I mean, he only had a dad, and it was, you know, Alfred, essentially. And
that's
he's gone
more
through
than
hell,
some of us.
essentially. This is true. But I'm saying, like, he hasn't exactly had the best anything. Not to mention, he's essentially a psychopath with a lot of money and a goal.
Okay,
So,
I agree with what Dormammu's saying though. It's like their need to drive that fucking nail into the board.
well,
because
I think we all agree
my
he
sad
fucked up
story
with
we've
Jason.
all heard. My parents divorced when I was young, yada yada, whatever.
Oh.
But when I became a parent, all I do is all those things that I wanted a dad there for, I make sure I do with my kids. All those things I'm glad a dad wasn't there for, I don't do with my kids. Like you don't have to have them there to be able to do a decent job. You just
one thing we've
did
seen.
you pursue vengeance?
I
Yeah,
mean,
you didn't. You haven't really been pursuing vengeance.
we're gonna
also
bleep
raising
this
your
part
kids.
out, but
No, we're
yes,
not.
I am Batman.
You're not Batman.
Yeah, ask my
You
kids.
might be.
They'll
You might be
tell
Catman.
Ask my kids. They'll tell you what's up.
Nope. Anyways, so but actually, what we've seen throughout a lot of history with it, though, as we progress through the Robins, he does learn and he treats the later ones different.
And he really didn't do bad by Jason Todd. Jason Todd was the physical embodiment of the stereotypical bad teenager who didn't want to listen to
he already was a fucking street tough kid. You know, he was.
The only thing he did
had a
wrong
problem
was
with authority, too.
He wouldn't let Jason kill people.
Yeah, which he fixed later on.
By letting him kill people.
Exactly. He found a way to go ahead and kill people.
Yeah.
But either way, it's so far I'm happy with the story. One thing is when I ordered comics this week, which I don't normally do, I'd usually just go to my store and pick them up. But I had an inkling for some reason this week, and as soon as I got the release info from mycomicshop.com, which is actually a local Texas-based comic book store that just will happen to ship on the internet, I saw that the issue was coming along with the Power Rangers that I normally collect. And I went ahead and I just ordered a couple variant covers and stuff like that I wanted. I don't normally get variant covers to that degree, but I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go ahead and order it. And then
How many fucking Power Ranger variant covers did you just buy not too long ago? Don't you fucking tell me you don't.
Well, no, I bought two for the same issue because I like I do like the chrome cover ones that have the helmets on them. But the good news is I did pre-order those things, so they'll come to me, I think, next week. I have it sent to ship twice a month. So basically, you know, you have your own box and they just ship it to you. So I go to my store Wednesday after work and some of their shipment was destroyed, including half of the comics that I normally would be purchasing. So it's a good thing I ordered them ahead of time. But now I will have multiple variant covers of the Batman comic just because. So, and there is a much rarer version of the cover, but I just didn't feel like paying for that one. It was like too expensive. But either way, let's see. Oh, I did grab the NECA Gargoyles Bronx this week. Found that luckily in my Target. And
nice.
And so far, it's definitely one that had been there for a while because remember how, well, even, you know,
The dust.
No, not even that. It was always rumored that Target was supposed to have a case that had one Bronx and two Demonas in
Demonas.
it.
Yep.
And so far, I've seen, up until recently, only two Demonas on the shelf. Until very recently when they're now flooding the shelves. So that means the first wave from Holothon was only those three ever sent to any store. So I go to my Target, not a out of the way one for work, and buttload of Demonas, and then a single Bronx. And I dug. I was like, maybe there's more. Maybe I could hook somebody else up. But okay.
Yeah, I still haven't got Demona. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna get her or not.
She's good, but the issue...
I know, but the thing is, if I'm downsizing my collection to Legends to make room for more stuff, that's stuff that I already have. I have a fuck ton of stuff that nobody has ever seen because it's packed up and I just don't have anywhere to put it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to start growing another collection. Like I'm getting the gargoyles, but I was gonna just get the main ones and then see if there's any other.
I mean, you might as well get Demona at least. Like she's worth getting.
The only real bad guys I need is Xanatos and the Iron Gargoyles. Like,
yeah,
anything past that, like the Jackal Squad or the Wolf Pack, whatever the fuck they called themselves. Whatever if they do like if they do the robotic versions of them motherfuckers, I'm in.
That would be cool.
Those motherfuckers.
Well, the only thing is,
I'll get those.
They gave us Demona, which means they should give us a Macbeth eventually. That would be worth it together as a pair.
I mean, more
need that
importantly,
Demona, Ricky, because like we were talking about, she is the epitome of a really not nice ex.
Yeah,
there you go.
True. But more importantly, not only did they give us Demona, they should give us a Macbeth. They gave us a Thalog. We should have got a Macbeth too.
Yeah, why would we get Thalog so soon?
Big.
That's so dumb.
Because it's a Goliath repaint. It's an easy one.
What is the other guy? Was it Stoneheart? Was that his? No, not Stoneheart. What was it?
Yeah,
Coldstone.
Yeah,
Coldstone. No, Coldstone.
Coldstone. Yeah, the guy that he ended up becoming half robot or whatever.
Well, it's because they broke his statue and they put it back together with robotic parts.
Yeah, I don't care about getting him either.
It might be a cool one.
Might not get away with that because of trademarking now.
I want to say a Coldstone Brewery, but I want to say I could be wrong.
Creamery.
You're at your computer, Shoki. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Michael Dorf did his voice. The
Michael Dorn.
Michael Dorn.
No, Dorf. The one who did Poo Poo Face from Next Generation. Poo Poo Head.
Dorn. Michael Dorn.
Michael Dorn.
Worf. Yeah, Michael Dorn. Yes.
Whatever. You're combining his name Worf with his real name Dorf.
Meh, whatever. Him.
So
I think he did the voice of Coldstone.
He did one of them for sure. I know he did. You're right, but I don't know which character he did for sure.
They had a lot of
actually who played
Beverly
Macbeth?
Crusher was one of them too.
Gates McFadden.
Yeah.
So wait,
TNG folks had all of those actors.
Who played Macbeth? That wasn't Patrick Stewart, right?
No.
Okay.
It was Sean Connery.
Yeah, we wish. Either way. So actually I do have news on the Demona front. Mine took a nosedive the other day and now her left wing will not stay up. So
man.
I'm going to have to do something about that. Yeah, after I pulled Goliath down to do the review for Bronx and do the wing swap, I'm sitting there doing the review and I hear her fall. I was like, son of a bitch. I know something broke. Yeah, it basically, the ratcheted teeth in the wings were already pathetic and like put any pressure on it and it can't hold anymore. So I'm going to have to do something about that.
I just want the closed wings ones anyways. The open wing ones, I only want if they ever do the stone versions.
Yeah. And I almost picked up a second Goliath to try to see if I could do a stone repaint. I think I'll be okay, except for the fact that I need a proper paint that will stick okay to the soft plastic of the bodies and the tails, because otherwise, like, as soon as you bend anything, especially with the bendy tail, it'll just break the paint. So I gotta have the right kind of paint for that.
I would say spray paint, probably.
Oh, no, it's spray paint, but you gotta have something that's flexible. So, like, what is this stuff called?
Get that paint that they put on houses for when the houses settle and the cracks form and all that. It kind of flexes with it.
But no, there's a paint that basically it's a spray vinyl. And all I would need to do is use that for I don't know why I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head, but you could use it as a base coat and then paint over it so it's got the flexibility, and then you paint on top of it. I don't know.
It'd be kind of cool is putting like popcorn, like spray popcorn on it, so it gives it that rocky kind of.
Well, they have textured paint for that. You know, what do you have to do that? They have stone textured paint.
Krylon makes a stone texture paint.
Yeah, you could buy a straight up Krylon, but I'd be worried that it might melt some of that plastic realistically. So I don't know. I'll play with it. We'll see. Yeah, it's if I catch it on sale, like catch a Goliath on sale or a Thalog on sale, where I don't have to pay $35 fucking. By the way, with taxes, Bronx was $40. I was pissed. Cheaper than
They had to charge you for
BBTS.
those wings, dude.
Yeah, cheaper than BBTS price though, offhand.
But they
Without
had to charge you
shipping.
for those wings.
Yep. Okay, where am I at now in my list? Oh, okay. So watching stuff. Watch quite a bit. Along with Black Mirror. So we watched a few more Black Mirror episodes. I don't remember did I bring that up last week? I think I did. So we got a few more episodes into season 3. Yeah, we still got a couple more to go. But like there was one episode, you talked about all the Marvel and DC actors and stuff like that. There was one episode I was like, Jesus Christ, there's like 3 mainline Disney, Star Wars, or Marvel actors running this particular episode. I was like, shit. Still a crazy show.
I want to see The Gray Man. Have y'all watched that?
The wifey watched it, and I watched the last 15 minutes of it with her, and I thought it was stupid as fuck. But without she said I should
Captain
watch
America?
it. Yes.
I heard it was really good.
Yeah, the last 15 minutes of it were fucking absurd. It's like their final fight. I got to watch their final fight and with no context.
I got you.
But we talk about realism in the Terminal List. Yeah, this fucking fight was super unrealistic.
Man.
He stabs a dude. I'm not saying who stabbed who. I'm saying a person got stabbed. A person got stabbed repeatedly and was still able to fight no problem.
I'm gonna stab you repeatedly.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have any plans on watching that movie now that I've seen how it ended. I wasn't really very interested, especially with what's his face with a friggin' standalone mustache. Captain America with a standalone mustache. I was like, I don't know about this.
So anyways, you were talking about Black Mirror.
Yes, Black Mirror was good. I'm going to keep watching that for sure. I'm very interested. I can't wait to get to Bandersnatch, which is the choose your own adventure show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in that one once we get there.
Are you actually going to have you already watched videos on how to get the different endings, or are you going to
No, I'm just going to go at it natural. I don't want to know nothing about it. I want to go into it natural and see what happens.
I've never done it, but I know that became a big thing, man. People were on Facebook when that first came out. They were trying to tell people how to get the endings. I'm like, why would you ruin that for somebody?
It was the first of its kind. Other shows have done it since, or movies have done it since.
They got TV shows with Choose Your Adventure. My kids were watching when Man vs. Wild. That was Choose Your Own Adventure shit. Like
Man vs.
Wild.
Wild?
Climb up this. Yeah, the TV show with the dude that. Yeah, it was on Netflix, and like he would come to a part, and they'd be like, is he going to try to climb up this rock face, or is he going to go down this path over here? Yeah. And if you chose rock face, it'd be like, oh, he died. Try again. Yeah.
Well, see, I knew. Let's see. I know some YouTubers did it back in the day, but Markiplier did it with Markiplier in space, and it was only like Choose Your Adventure. So it was like, it was a space drama thing, and they actually spent a decent amount of money building sets and stuff. And it was like, okay, you're in charge. You're the captain, and you're telling him what to do. Like, okay, do we flip the switch on this? Do we attack these people? Do we open this door? And they had to film, of course, the alternate stuff as you go. So it was actually pretty fun. But it's on YouTube. But that's easier because they can just set it up as different videos, and then you immediately jump to the next one. It's not happening within the show. So
to me, what I think would be funny with like a thing like Bandersnatch, like Black Mirror type storylines and stuff, is if every process, no matter what you chose, you always got the same single fucked up ending. There is no multiple endings. There's multiple choices, but you still get the same fucked up ending no matter what you do. And just that seems to me to fit more in like the Black Mirror.
Or if you do nothing, you choose a secret, do nothing, and that's the only way you get a different outcome.
Yeah.
Every so that every change you make ends up actually just ending you at the same point. But if you make
like a very nihilistic kind of story, like if you just sit back and just let shit happen,
but nobody would continue. Nobody would. I don't think. I think if that was the case, nobody would continue past like 2.
Yeah.
It's like it was just fucking. But if you had a secret like Easter egg one on the screen, like if it was left or right, but if you hit up, you found the Easter egg one, like DVD, like good old DVD Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, good times.
So the secret do nothing, and you just play it out, and it's a totally different outcome, totally different path. But it's the only way to change it. If you actually fight against it constantly, no matter what you do, you end up at the same point, no matter how you fought it. Okay.
I think
that would be
funny.
interesting.
To me.
We
That would
just
be.
gave that
I think
idea
that
away.
fits more. Yeah, that fits more in the Black Mirror. Oh yeah, trademark, copyright.
Jump on it real quick.
Yeah, but that to me fits more because I haven't watched Black Mirror, but I've heard enough about it. It's very
Definitely watch it.
nihilistic and
Oh, super
kind of
nihilistic.
yeah.
And
So
fucked up.
that fits more in that kind of genre, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
Dude, the
so
episode,
I think that would have been a good thing to do.
so the episode, and a lot of people talk about this. I think even Pinkerton talked about it when he was watching it. The episode where you can block people in real life. So like you perceive them as just like a staticky outline, but you can't hear them and they can't talk to you. They can try, but it just blocks the audio, and like all reference to that person for eternity, as long as you have them blocked, is also. So if you have pictures like or video of someone, even seeing other representations. Yes, what am I seeing? The comment he made? Yes, I see that.
Okay, well, since we did it that way instead of this, Dormammu said he has 10 minutes left, so I was
Oh,
just
that
making
I
sure you
didn't
saw
see.
that without
Oh, I
saying it on here.
Sorry, I didn't actually see that. I only have 10 minutes left. I missed that part. I apologize.
Sorry about that.
Either way, Rob is gone. Unfortunately, he had to go, but it's okay. Hopefully, we'll get him back on for another discussion we were supposed to have at the end. We'll still have part of that discussion, but it's okay. If you magically
you see
hear
behind the curtains, people.
Yes, I don't care. It's fine. All right. The other thing is, I've been watching Clone Wars, finally into season 2, and I'm still falling asleep after maybe an episode.
Dude, how
and a
slow
half.
are you fucking going that you just got into season 2? The 20-minute episodes, dude.
I know, but the thing is, like, I'll watch 2 or 3 and I'll fall asleep on the second one, wake up 3 episodes later when it's paused, and then like I'll be like no interest in going back and rewatching it. So like the hard part is I have to go back 3 episodes to figure out where I actually fell asleep. And like
it's not that horrible.
No,
man.
but the problem is I watch it when I eat lunch. So I fall asleep after lunch. It's like I should not watch shows I want to watch, but it has gotten better. It's definitely kicked up. Like you said, season 1 is rough.
Season 1's bad. It's not horrible, but it's not.
It's rough.
The same level.
Too many Jar Jar episodes in season 1.
But like it gets way better. Season 2 starts like running. It hits the ground running.
Dude, could they not get the original Jar Jar voice actor? Like this version of Jar Jar
there was like
is
a whole.
so
Remember,
bad.
there was like a whole big thing after that movie. That dude kind of lost his mind a little because he was getting so much hate mail and stuff. Like he almost committed suicide and stuff. Like it was a whole big.
I guess so.
Thing.
That makes sense. But like this version of Jar Jar is so bad. Like whoever's voice acting is so much worse. Either way, I know
Jar Jar's was trash anyways, and that's nothing against the actor.
No,
it's horrible that people treated him that way. I just didn't like the character. He did fine as a character.
Exactly, I agree with that. Yeah. So the episode I think I just finished before on Friday. I'm trying to watch it only on either Thursday or Friday, so that way I can get other shows done. I think the one I watched was where they needed to find out if a senator was betraying the Republic. And Amidala had to basically.
Jar Jar was the spy trying to figure it out.
No, it was Amidala had to basically try to seduce this guy and see if he was the spy or not. And like she had to like.
Anakin got jealous.
Well, Anakin went along. He was there to protect her, pretending to be her manservant. And of course, she had to pretend to kiss him at one point and all this stuff. And this dude was like all up in it because they used to date back in the day before Anakin came along. And so he thinks he's
when he was still a child before she started banging him.
Exactly. Well, I think it was in the gap after she was no longer queen.
He was in the gap.
Yes, I know. So I think it was supposed when they dated was supposed to be after she was no longer queen and she became a senator for Naboo. So in that area, so he was still growing up in the Jedi, just jerking it off to memories of her. He wasn't yet trying to seduce her as an awkward, like 17-year-old.
She was his Cheryl Teagues poster.
Exactly. So this dude literally thinks he's totally going to get up in there again. And he thinks he's also going to somehow get away with betraying the Republic to the Trade Federation. And so
wasn't he working with like the banking people or
yes,
whatever?
He was. He's part of them. No, he's part of their. He is part of the guys who loan out the money. And they're like, well, if you want the money for your fucking big ass droid factory, you're gonna have to do this kind of shit. And then they end up giving the plan to the Jedi, or she steals them, I should say. And like they still do the thing anyways. I was like, so wait, taking the plans away and letting the Jedi know had no bearing on whether or not you did the thing anyways. They just happen to
Well,
know that it exists.
it's kind of like all the Boston spies that died to get the Death Star
This is one
plans.
episode to the next. Oh, okay. So
yeah, no, but they
should say
still
the
went
next
forward
episode
with
was
using the
different.
Death Star, knowing that people knew how
Yeah.
to get in there and destroy it.
So, okay.
I mean, it's not like they're
So
tactical geniuses out there.
True. But okay, so for instance, I watched that whole episode, and then the next one was the assault on Genosha, I believe it was called. And
The cloning planet.
yeah, no, not
the bugs.
The bugs.
Genosha was
Yeah.
the bugs. Yeah.
So where they built a new massive droid factory, which is what the whole point was. They needed money to build a new big ass droid factory to overwhelm the Jedi. And I think I fell asleep halfway through that episode, even though it's like all battle and like watching them get completely fucked up by stuff like that. I fucking fell asleep in that one too, or I was working on something. Either way, I don't remember that whole episode. So I need to stop watching those shows right after lunch, or just skip lunch so I don't fall asleep during them.
Or just skip to season 3. It sounds like Jesus.
No, I mean it's not boring. It's just like I can't help it if I want to pass the fuck out. I may or may not have a glucose problem. After that,
I do the same shit sometimes when I eat something heavy. Like I will go fuck sleep.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. The other thing is, of course, I watched Lightyear. We were talking about it earlier.
Good stuff.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Chris Evans did a good job, even though they forcibly removed Tim Allen from being Lightyear. Which I guess, and now that I just said that out loud, I think I answered my own question that I put in my notes.
Forcibly removed
No, they
him.
did. They did. They took a political stance with Tim Allen. His political / religious beliefs is why they took him out of being Lightyear.
He couldn't be Lightyear anyways. You're gonna tell me the actual movie? Well, I guess. I mean, we do.
Yeah, I mean,
never mind. I was gonna say you're gonna have the movie actor play his voice in the cartoon too, but I guess yeah. Never mind.
No, actually he wasn't. So I don't know who did the voice in the cartoon. If I'm honest, the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Oh yeah, Star Command. Yeah.
Great show, by the way.
I enjoyed it.
And this actually was funny is this almost leads into the cartoon in a way, but it doesn't. Spoilers. But the whole point is what I was getting at with the Tim Allen thing. I ended up spelling out the reason why that a lot of people are mad at this movie and calling it woke nonsense. And I thought it was about the lesbian best friend. I was like, why are people mad at this? That would make no sense. And I just talked it out in my own head and realized it's the Tim Allen thing, not that.
Yeah, mostly the Tim Allen thing.
So, but no, but the one thing was like, I thought about it. I was like, hold on. So he knows his best friend is gay. No big deal. One of the time skips, which by the way, the whole time travel aspect of it was fun.
That was
to me.
It was sad.
Yeah. So he's basically skipping over his best friend's life, and he has nothing for himself. Buzz is all about being a space ranger.
It's like Click with
exactly
with Adam Sandler. He hit fast forward too many times.
Yeah. So he would fast every time he tried to do the hyperspeed test. He would skip ahead 4 years. So they're stranded on this planet. His best friend, who's also their commander, at this point, I think he's a captain. Yeah, he's a captain. She's a commander. And so she gets with a girl. They get married. They have a kid, which at one point I was like, are they not going to talk about this? I was like, oh yeah, kids movie. They don't need to explain where this came from. It's like clearly they must. Now, if somehow they had worked in there that maybe like at one of his breaks, Buzz was somehow like
you just
donated
see a just sticking out of the garbage can.
Exactly. So if the kid was somehow Buzz's on the side, that would have been interesting. But then
no, I don't like that.
Well, because he also would have skipped over that kid's life entirely, almost.
Man.
So like we see her son, I guess, or was a dickhead. The dickhead commander that later on took over, was that supposed to be her kid?
I want to say that was like the grandson or something, wasn't it?
No, because it's only one generation off. So like the girl that he ends up working with later is the granddaughter. So it was her, which by the way, they also skip over that family almost entirely. So I don't know what happened there because the final skip was like 22 years. So he like really fucking went for it and got 22 years out of it. And that's when he comes back and the Zerg ship is above. Everything about it, even with the references to like Star Wars and even some Star Trek and some other things in there. I
love
really
Zerg,
enjoyed it.
and I love how they finally explained him and made his backstory. Like it was cool. Like they handled that well.
And if you're watching it at least on Disney Plus, you can skip through the credits to see all the credit scenes, which is pretty cool how they at least threw that in there finally as an option. So I didn't know there was a total like after credits scene. I only knew the mid credits stuff, where you see that there may be a sequel in the future. So either way. Oh, I also like that in the movie, like his Space Ranger suit is like pretty different from what we've seen before, and eventually, he gets a jetpack as an escape thing. But then at the end of the movie, they actually give them new updated Space Ranger outfits, which are the same as the toy from Toy Story.
Yeah.
So I was like, that is a really cool way to have gone, which is why it would have been awesome if they did the meta ending that I hoped they would, and they didn't. They hate me so much for doing that. Okay, so on top of that, today... Oh, wait, hold on. I'll not skip that far ahead. So the other night after... I think it was after my live stream. I went out in the living room, and the wifey was watching the Woodstock 99 documentary on Netflix.
Oh, yeah?
Holy shit, dude. Oh, fuck. Like, I knew about some of the stuff that went on there, but I didn't know it was this bad.
They've had multiple.
Oh, they have. This isn't the only one. I don't know which one in particular this is, but like, I didn't know half of the stuff that went down. Like, and mind you, I didn't see the beginning of it, but I, caught on. Like, so as it got progressively worse over the amount of time that concert, or not concert, but festival went on. Holy shit, dude. And then they showed the final extremely violent / fiery end of that. I was like, holy fuck.
On the break stuff part.
Dude, they talked about the whole Limp Bizkit thing, like the night Limp Bizkit went on and everything that happened there. But then after the final performance with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, dude, and the fact that they burnt everything to the fucking ground. They stole everything. They were tearing open the ATMs that were in the vendor village. Everything. Like, it was so absurd. And the fact that there were so many crews there documenting everything, like, they show all of it. And I could not believe, even in this modern day, I mean, like, now, the spin the fucking producers of that show were putting on it. Like, they're pretending like none of the shit is happening. They're having like daily news updates and stuff like that with press conferences. And like, they'll be like, this happened, but it's not like this. It wasn't that bad. People were fucking leaving out of there sick as fuck with sores on their mouths and everything like that, because all of the water was contaminated, because they had the porta potties overflowing right next to where people were supposed to be able to get fresh water, clean water, and shower up. And that's only one of the minimal problems. They had one thing where like people had busted open the water containers and like flooded this whole section and made a mud pit, but it wasn't just mud. The overflow,
it was feces.
It was feces and all that stuff. I was like, and people were out there for days on end because it was a huge festival, and they paid hundreds of dollars to fucking go to this shit. And
okay, so look, you just said that. You want me to blow? Like, it blows my mind. It might not. You might not care, but I'm a huge. I love classic rock, and Hendrix is my favorite guitarist. In fact, I'm wearing a Hendrix shirt right now. So I have the Live at Woodstock Hendrix DVD.
Yeah,
and it has like a lot of memorabilia that came with it and stuff. And I was looking in there, and Woodstock '69, hundreds of the greatest artists of classic rock history, easily the top 20 groups and individuals in classic rock were at Woodstock.
Yes,
and
it was huge.
It was a 3-day festival, massive, $18 for tickets to go all 3 days.
Yeah.
To see the biggest. My mom and I went and saw the Eagles for my 29th birthday, and they were like $100 a ticket just for like the nosebleed section.
Yeah. And
that was just to see the Eagles. And that was inside the Ice Palace in Tampa, where the Lightning used to play at. Yep. And this was the entire thing for $18. That's crazy to me.
Yep. That's the music industry corporate greed for you.
That's batshit crazy. And
that's not even inflation. That's not even fucking inflation, man. That is just corporate greed. And I'm not usually about that. But when it comes to the music industry and all the bullshit I've had to deal with on my other channel with dealing with getting copyright claims and copyright blocks and shit like that, yeah. The fucking corporate greed on the music side, and Bobby's talked about it before. especially with UMG and Sony.
Uh-huh.
Both of those companies can eat every dick. Every dick
Every
and
dick.
choke on half of them. And they don't know which
Yeah.
ones they're going to choke on.
The dirty ones.
No, I want them to savor the dirty ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Choking on them, they're stuck in there. You're going to be savoring them for a while. If they just swallow them, they're not choking on it. So.
I guess that's true. Depends on how much they chew.
How gross.
Okay, so
this took a work. I wanted to talk about an $18 concert ticket, and somehow we got the choking on dirty dicks.
well, speaking of choking on dirty dicks, we were talking about Woodstock '99. I'm sure there was a lot of that going on because they also tried to cover up all the sexual assault and rapes that happened at the concert, some of which right in front of the fucking stage. So like, there's a lot of shit that happened there. There's people who probably are scarred for life for that show.
Like my oldest is really into music, like from a musical standpoint. My youngest likes music too. Is this safe for them to watch with me, or is this a no-go for kids?
No.
Okay.
This is a no-go. This shows all the dirty details.
Okay.
So yeah, no, you don't want to watch this with your kids. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Until they're
no, you don't have to apologize. That's why I asked, because you watched it. I haven't watched it.
No. I mean, at bare minimum, there's a lot of nudity and other stuff like that, and not to mention like the violent acts and cursing and all that kind of stuff. So no,
this
is
that's why I was asking. I didn't know if it was a lot of talking heads or if it was actual video clips.
No, this is straight up video clips of shit from the day. There's a lot of the talking heads and one lady who I think is gone by Heather. And I believe she was an attendee talking about her experience throughout it. Okay. But they're talking to all kinds of people who were, even the guys who were in charge of it are on this documentary. And even to this day, they're still not fucking owning up to it. It's insane. This morning, because we wanted to go with even more heavier watching, there's a YouTuber / political pundit that I watch. And she probably wouldn't like to necessarily be called that, but Lauren Southern, she's actually Canadian, like our friend Mike. And she's been in the political sphere since she was 19. Like fresh.
Does she have anything to say about United States politics?
Yes. And world politics in general. World politics in general. But the thing is, like, so no. But I mean, like, it's not just that she comments on political stuff. She's in it. Like, she gets in there. She goes deep, and she's a researcher, a journalist. Like, she actually is on the ground filming stuff, and she's a documentarian. So she's made, I believe she says she made 4 films now. So like I've been following her for a while, her own podcast, and when she's on other podcasts that I watch. 1, I will say, she's absolutely beautiful. 2, she's highly intelligent. 3,
is she hotter than the girl that was at your pool?
Yes. But here's the other thing about it. Well, actually, let me add to that final thought because I cut myself off. It's hilarious to watch her get drunk off of Pappy Van Winkle and then swing a sword around, which happened.
What the fuck is Pappy Van Winkle?
One of the most expensive bourbons you can buy. So she's literally drinking Pappy Van Winkle out of a paper cup, getting drunk, and then after said podcast, she starts swinging a sword around that they had on set. It's funny. The other thing is she's really young. So I said she got started when she was 19. She's only 26 now. So like, she's very well known. She's been in this for a while. She's already made 4 feature-length documentaries, which is what we watched this morning. And it's called Farmlands. It's available on YouTube. And it's about the plight of white farmers in South Africa. And most people probably have never heard anything about this. And basically, she goes into the fact that farmers, amongst other people, are getting murdered. The government is not only covering it up, but specifically working against these people to take their lands and force them out. And even though some of these people have been on their farmland for like multiple generations and over 100 years. So like, it's a lot of crazy shit.
My best friend, my old roommate Aaron, his dad actually lives in Namibia, so he's actually talked to me about some of this stuff. It's pretty wild over there.
It is insane. So like, she goes over the entire history of South Africa, how it was founded, all the way back, a couple hundred years ago, Shaka Zulu, all that kind of stuff like that. They do talk about, she briefly brings in, the Dutch India Company, or Dutch India Trading Company, whatever they call it. how it all got founded in the first place, so that you have some type of historical background to why things have led till now. They go all the way up through Nelson Mandela, go through apartheid, all that kind of stuff. And then she's on the ground in Africa interviewing people who are on both sides. She even gets a government official to talk about it. And he's very blatant. Just like, nope, sorry. We're kicking them the fuck out. And if they fight us, well, we'll fucking kill them. It was like, but they've been there for like longer than your government. It's like, these people have lived on this land longer than your government has existed. So it's insane, some of the stuff. And it's just one of those things that like you would not hear about on the nightly news. Now, apparently CNN and Fox and stuff like that talked about it, but it has disappeared. And this is a 4-year-old documentary. This came out in 2018. And the crazy thing is, she talked about it on a recent 3-hour-long expose she did. They did it on no budget. Like, they had to borrow the money to fly there. They stayed on people's couches and floors, like anybody who was nice enough to do it. They had enough money to pay for their guide and translator. And because they're not doing it for anyone big, it wasn't made for like a news network or something like that. It's very independent. It's pretty crazy how they managed to put this together. And I think they were there for a week, so I recommend it. I recommend just look her up, Lauren Southern on YouTube. And I started watching her latest documentary, which is about the Southern border crisis. And it's called American Mirage, where she basically goes down with a filming crew. So she flies over into Mexico and makes her way back across the border with all the illegals to show how it's done on the ground. So, I started watching that one. I didn't get very far into it. I need to pick it back up again. So that she's done a few different things, but that's her latest one. So either way, that literally brings us up till now, because right after we watched that, I came in here to start editing last week's podcast.
Nice.
So literally brought it all the way back around from last week. It's kind of funny. And also my throat is really fucking sore from that acid reflux earlier. Drinking water to try to help it. So, but either way, guys, that's going to be the end of the episode. I did cut out a whole discussion about food with Ricky. So check that out on the bonus episode. Didn't have one last week, but it's okay. I say last week as in I don't know when this is coming out just yet. No, we don't have one last week. Episode 21.
We're trying to make them stretch, guys. Yeah. We're trying to make them stretch.
We're trying to stretch it out until life gets back to normal. So make sure you subscribe here if you're new here, and leave us a like wherever it is you're listening to this episode, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Music, podcast things, I don't know, fucking Samsung. Leave us a like. If you want to leave a comment on YouTube, we'll read it at the top of the episode. And of course, if you want to email us to just give us thoughts, opinions, or stuff you'd want to hear us talk about, do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com, down in the description below. And of course, thanks to Rob for coming and helping us out again. He may or may not become Dormammu.
Mm-hmm.
Dormammu.
Yeah.
Either way.
Fuck, it's right.
Yeah, I hear it. Sorry. All right. And of course, shout out to Mike while he's still trying to settle his thing. I've tried to keep that link going down below to the GoFundMe. He did add a whole thing where it's a model kit of a DL44 Han Solo blaster that you can also purchase. It was donated to him. Damn, I heard that. That's on the recording. It was so loud. So if you want to help Mike and his family get a home, please do. And of course, you can follow Ricky on the Nerd Rage Radio promos on Facebook, and at the Realm Hatton Project on the Realm of Collectors channel on YouTube on Friday nights or every other Friday night for the actual live show.
Just make it easy to say Friday nights.
Yeah, I was just going to specify.
We're on there every Friday night.
That's true.
It's just easier.
I was going to specify. So either way, it's now raining, and Ricky did not walk the dog, so it sucks. But we'll catch you guys next time.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.